It's Monday, right before the holidays begin, and it looks like Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire are indeed coming back in Spider-Man. If you believe this recent rumor, makes a lot of sense. The question is, if the rumor also is to be believed, you're going to get a bigger role for the two of them. Is that smart? Is that Sony desperation? Is that the quickest path to making a lot of money? We'll discuss that and more. I'm always the first person to say, hey, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I was wrong about Mufasa, because Mufasa got its head kicked in by Sonic. And not only did it get wrecked by Sonic, it just ate a big pile of duty. So we'll discuss that. I had a lot of hopes for the Masters of the Universe movie because I like Travis Knight. Not loving the reports that are coming out on this one. So far, a couple things about the story that I had a little head scratching. But that's just one of the many things we're going to talk about here today on the show with me and John Rocha. There's only 2 live shows this week. And one of them's with John. One of them's with Winston. We'll discuss all the things I discussed with you guys right now. Let's get to it. Here we go. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is the show on Monday, the Kristian Harloff Show. And joining me on the Monday show, as always, the Outlaw John Rocha. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hello, everybody. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Nice to have you here. Yeah, so what I was saying is last week you came in firing, you came in punching. Unfortunately, it was the Superman week, which, it was, I mean, look, Kalinowski looked like he had it in, well, Roxy looked like she had it in the back. She beat you, and then Kalinowski has the actual day of the trailer, and then Winston and Coy put out a performance, and they wound up taking a week. However, there's only 2 live shows this week, and it's just you versus Winston. That's it. It's you versus Winston. That's it.
2 old friends going
head to head. And it's a good start so far. We got 10 already in there before we even started the show, so that's a good sign.
200 today. Let's get
200.
to 200.
Oh my God, we'll be here for 4 hours.
It's Christmas. Come on, everybody.
That's right. Look, we got a lot to talk about, man, because there's a lot of different things that are going on. And one of the things you actually asked me you're like, when we were going over the stories we were going to talk about, I guess before we even get into the main topics, there's something that we've discussed. 'Cause I asked you if you saw that movie with Blake Lively. I always forget the name of it.
It Ends With Us.
Yeah, It Ends With Us, right? So I asked, I had seen it, and then you said you were going to watch it. You probably still haven't.
No.
Right. And then there was a circus around this movie for the majority of its promotion and afterwards interviews, and then it just kind of went away. Well, it came back up over the weekend. What the hell happened?
Yeah, apparently this report came out, or this lawsuit rather came out from Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni and his PR people, which was a team and crisis manager that he hired, who had worked with Johnny Depp during the Amber Heard situation. And it was revealed in the lawsuit that there were text messages exchanged between them encouraging a certain path forward, and that certain things were done to create a social media campaign to denigrate Blake Lively and to insult her and attack her and essentially undermine her position in the situation with Justin Baldoni. And so those text messages have caused a lot of people to rethink the situation. There's been a lot of people standing with her. Certainly all the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants actresses came out supporting her. This morning, Amy Schumer came out and supported her. Paul Feig came out and supported her. And then even Amber Heard chimed in this morning as well with a statement saying, I know exactly what this experience was like. And a lot of people are resorting back to the whole, only believe one side and ignore the other side. And so it's funny to watch the same people who were on Baldoni's side now all of a sudden be as vitriolic on the other side against him. So it's a lot going on here, and there are people like us who have sources behind the scenes who say that it's a much more complicated situation than what you're seeing. So everyone can grandstand and do their PR, to their fans and their supporters and all, but none of us were on the set, and there are sources on the set who are saying different things from and an off the record movie exec who's told us different things. So, it's a complicated situation, unfortunately. And I think there's still more to come out on this situation.
I think if the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing taught us anything, it clearly hasn't taught anybody anything, because there's people just still doing exactly what you're saying. I think you need to listen to everything and figure out all the facts before, even then.
Agreed.
It's hard to talk about anything like, oh, well, I believe this person. It's like, you don't know everything. And the idea, and let me start off by saying this. Everything that Blake Lively is saying happened could very well be 100% true.
100% true.
Could
yes,
absolutely be but what could also be a thing that you have to keep in consideration is that this Justin Baldoni guy does not have the star power or the reach that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have, right? So if they say, hey, look at all the facts that we have and what we are, you're going to believe them right away, because you know who they are and you don't know who he is.
Right.
And again, it very well could all be true, but the guy's at a disadvantage right away because of the star power. You know what I mean?
I think that's the thing I come back to. I mean, this guy built his brand before he started doing a lot of things in Hollywood on that podcast that was very clear about addressing the toxicity of men towards women. And there have been a few people who've come out in support of him and saying their interactions with him. A few women rather have come out and said that they've worked with him on projects and that he's been nothing but gracious and respectful and all this. And some of the accusations from Blake are so outlandish. And to me, this feels outlandish. I don't mean in terms of like not being true. I mean, like, it's so far against what we were told about this guy. And it isn't like
give an example. Can you give an example?
Well, like there was, like he was apparently talking about his sexual exploits and that he was showing her nude pictures of other women and talking about her breasts and talking about her weight and these kinds of things. And so these are the things that are trademark conversations that toxic men are accused of having. And certainly that's something that is a lot of women have made us aware of since the Me Too movement. And really, they've been making us aware of for decades and centuries. People just started listening a little bit more after the Me Too movement or during the Me Too movement. And so those are the things you see here. And I think with Justin, it just seems a little bit like this is kind of unbelievable. Now, you can say, I think you should listen to everything, as Kristian said, listen to everything, get all the facts to come out, then make statements. But people are rushing to judgment off accusations from Blake Lively, right? And these are the same things that people were upset about on the Blake Lively side, that people were rushing to judgment on her from the Justin Baldoni side. So these are the things that I think we have to train ourselves once again to wait till all the stuff comes out, then look at it and analyze it for ourselves where we stand. But too many people just want to grab this and use it to grind their own axes and push their own narratives and this whole idea of victimhood. And I have a really hard time, and it doesn't mean it's not true, but I have a really hard time believing a woman with this kind of power, who is connected to a man with this kind of power, who have high-powered lawyers, high-powered PR machines, high-powered was willing to put herself in a position to be abused by a no-name director on a set. And you can't ignore the fact that he holds the IP hostage right now that she wants. She wanted to continue with this and create a franchise out of this with Colleen Hoover's books, who, by the way, has also come out and said that she stands by Blake Lively.
Well, the whole cast stopped following this guy on too.
Yeah, right. Seems like one or two of the male cast members.
It seemed like the cast was like, finally, she said something, because here we are, we got your back. So there's certain things that can say absolutely 100%. It looks, as we said, as we started this, all of this could be absolutely 100% exactly what happened. But I just think that people just need to be careful, because people do this all the time. It's like, you can have your opinion on it in the same way that John, I think, just shared his. John in no way just said, this is what I believe happened. He just said, you got to keep everything into perspective. And I think that's what we need to do here in general. But this is not going away. There's more and more that is going to continue to come out with this case.
And I think you have to factor in too, Kristian, like, these are actors who want to continue working in Hollywood. And the reality of Hollywood is, if someone powerful, like, says, hey, this or that, or claims this or that, you want to continue working with that person. And look, WME dropped Justin Baldoni over the weekend. And from what I heard from my source, Ryan and Blake made that very clear to WME that if you didn't drop Justin Baldoni, they were going to leave WME. And WME is not going to drop $1 billion filmmaker and his wife over a guy who is kind of a little bit of a no-name.
Right.
So,
and especially
for Yeah.
And the flip side to that too. What you're saying is you're not wrong. You are not wrong that it's like, hey, look, here's the deal. You know what I'll look at? This is the example of that particular circumstance. Back in 2007, I was actually there the night before this happened, but Carlos Mencia and the Joe Rogan thing happened.
Right.
Now, Carlos was the bigger star at the time. Joe Rogan did not have the podcast. Joe Rogan was about as comedy store guy as you get.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's agent dropped him because of it. The Comedy Store banned Joe Rogan, or he couldn't, or had a fight with, said he couldn't come back. And Joe Rogan was in the right on that conversation
in the end.
But because they took, who brings in the most money? That's the first part. Now the other side of it could be because you even look at like some people are talking about in the chat. Maldoni's podcast partner, she was like, "This is finally coming out. I'm out of here." She might not have that whole thing to deal with Blake. She's like, "This is just not a good dude," and that very well could be the case. That this guy is just not a good dude. But we need to figure out what it is. Let people bring that to light. We have other things to talk about. We have tons of things to talk about, and that main story here that we wanted to discuss is this. We've been talking, you and I, about the Spider-Man 4 rumors forever, right? And we both agreed that we thought that it should be a grounded movie, but Sony's pushing, because Sony now, desperate to make money on any way that they can off of this IP, and they're like, please, we need to make $1 billion again. Put in Andrew, put in Tobey, let's do it. It looks like Marvel bent the knee on that one, and that's what's going to happen, because this is just a rumor, but this is the report that was sent to me earlier today. Apparently, the death of the Sony universe was an exaggeration. Sony will never in a million years let go of the Spider-Man IP. The only way its company gets bought out, or the rights get bought for an exorbitant amount of money. But I'll tell you this about Jason, about who? No? Kroll? I don't know. I believe we're going to see him. I guess we're going to see him in Spider-Man 4. Too many pieces are falling into place at the same time. We're on the subject matter of the end game for Spider-Man 4. A lot has clearly transpired over the last few days or weeks when it comes to the plot of this film. Doom, Mephisto, Ghost Rider, Carl, Venom, Daredevil. We need to focus on the primary fact that I can trust my source and trust my reporting. Many of those you reading won't believe it until either the studio or trade confirms it. Could be all those things, could be none. But what I can tell you is what I've been told from my sources, and what I have been told is that both Marvel and Sony want this film in particular to be a team-up movie in the way that Marvel produced Deadpool and Wolverine. At the end, goal here is to recapture the same magic and team-up dynamic, but switch out Deadpool and Fox for the Spider-Man and Sony. Based on that, plus the multiverse setting that this film has, it is reasonable to assume that out of the possible team-up options, Tom Hardy's Venom is the most likely option between him, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, or any other character. Therefore, having these two characters interact likely points to the inclusion of, is it Krull? Krull, right?
No,
I can't see it. Even with my glasses.
Krull is the 1980s one,
yeah, that's right. Null as the final antagonist for these characters. Stupid name. Not to mention, two of the trusted sources have told me that they are planning to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for a larger participation than they had in No Way Home. As far as Mephisto and Ghost Rider, I will admit this information is needed new to me, as I expected him to appear in Avengers Doomsday, given the inspiration of Avengers Forever for that storyline. But him having a fixation on Spider-Man shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone, especially after the notorious One More Day comic storyline. All right, that's. Oh wait, no, there's more. Apparently, are there any heroes and villains you expect Spider-Man and Venom to come across in their battle against Null and the symbiotes? I do like the idea of Willem Dafoe returning, but not as normal. That's just him speculating at this point.
Yeah.
All right, listen. I don't know how much this guy really knows. What I say is, what I don't do is what a lot of people do if it doesn't come from Deadline and Variety. A, they don't give people credit for it, or they don't think it could be true. It very well could be true. And I think that the idea of that makes sense for Sony. And I don't know if you heard this, but we kept having the conversation about whether or not Sony in their deal were allowed to make other Spider-Man movies with Peter Parker in live action.
Yeah.
From what I heard, and I don't know, this isn't from I heard from somebody on the phone or something. This had somebody read it or something, that they didn't have that deal. If that's the case, then these people are morons. They are morons, especially to do this. Let Spider-Man 4 be a Tom Holland street level thing, and go make 3 movies with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Make Spider-Man 4 with Tobey, make Amazing Spider-Man 3, and then do a team up with those guys, and you can start your own franchise over there. Unless it doesn't look like that's that there is a thing in the contract, but this is them just grasping at straws saying, please, let's make $1 billion so we can make some money.
Yeah, it seems like they had this agreement with Marvel. It seems like, if you're reading the tea leaves, right? Like, look, let us get Spider-Man off the ground again, because you crap the bed on Spider-Man 3 with Tobey, and then you crap the bed with Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew. Regardless of some of you like those movies, that was the perception. And so, okay, let's give us a little bit of runway here. Marvel says, give us a little bit of runway to reestablish Spider-Man with Tom Holland. We're going to make it work. They made it work. And now Sony was like, well, now that you made it work, what are we going to do with this IP since we can't use Spider-Man? You've asked us not to confuse people. All right, we're going to create these movies. Well, look at all this money we spent. And really, only Venom brought us back money, right? And even only the first one, really. And so now we're like, okay, now we want to bring our Spider-Man back. We want to save our universe. So I guess this is, a conversation between two juggernauts here in Sony and Marvel, figuring out how they can please both masters here and bring back 3 Spider-Men again for another adventure. And in a way, probably soft launching Tobey and Andrew in some format back into the Sony Spider-Man universe, and maybe even Miles Morales, and then reestablishing the characters that they launched in their Sony Spider-Man universe with Venom and Null in the last one, and bring that into the MCU. So in essence, Marvel is sharing the MCU now with Sony if they were to go down this route. And I think this is dangerously stupid, honestly, on Marvel's part. They don't need to do this.
No, they don't.
And it scares me that they, what it is. You start working with somebody who constantly makes mistakes. Those mistakes are going to spread to you rather than your successes spreading to that person making a mistake that's making mistakes. So I think it's a bad idea, bro.
I think it could be look, the flip side to it, I agree with you, first of all, but the flip side to it is that if it hits, you have an opportunity, as we've seen with No Way Home, that you can make a lot of money. You can really do really well with this if it fits the story and they put it all together. And look at Deadpool and Wolverine. If they're using that as an example.
Sure. Deadpool, No Way Home did well with the
they both did. Both of them. They both of those movies. And if you're going to do it this way and you think that's what people want, and people want to see the member berries and all those types of things and putting those all together, then it absolutely could work. But I think that by doing it this way, it is a mistake. I think that what Sony can do, and somebody in the comments said, how many Spider-Man movies do you want? It has nothing to do. I'm talking about business-wise, guys. I'm talking about business-wise. If you're looking at it from Sony-wise, instead of making Craven, and instead of making Madam Web, and instead of all these piss boxes, you say, all right, well, we have the Spider-Man thing. We just did No Way Home. It works. Marvel has done the work for us and created this multiverse thing that people will say, oh, okay, there's all these different things. We already included them in the multiverse, so that's how it makes sense with our world. Let's just do that. But instead, they're going to just, they're basically playing craps.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think, look, I want to see them together. I like them together, but I just feel like I just was bummed because I wanted to finally see Tom Holland. Well, here, and tell me if maybe I'll still get this right, because it looks like they signed Tom Holland to 3 more movies, right?
Yeah, 3 more movies. Yes.
So maybe the conversation then is with Rothman and Feige is like, we really want to do a grounded one. They're like, okay, well, you're going to sign this kid up to another contract here, and eventually you're going to want to get to Miles Morales. Throw us a bone, do the Maguire and Tobey movie, the Tobey movie and the Andrew Garfield movie now, and then for your second movie, bring it street level, and then in the third movie you hand it off to Miles.
Yeah,
that's a possibility too, right?
I think it's a possibility, especially because Tom Holland just signed that massive production deal with Sony, right? So in essence, Tom could be the executive producer of those Spider-Man films going forward, and line his pockets even more and offer creative input in some way for the Miles Morales thing going forward. And I think that would be great for him. And that seems to make sense. But nothing tells you that we can't do it ourselves, like asking another company to do it for you. And that's essentially what they're doing. We don't have the guts to launch, or the cachet now with the fans, to launch an Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire return to Spider-Man We need to borrow Marvel's cred, the MCU's cred, in order to establish ourselves again with those two characters and go forward. My concern is that if you include Null and Venom and possibly Madame Web and all these other people, you've essentially condoned and blessed the Sonyverse, and that is now canon within the MCU. And I don't think that makes any business sense at all. You know?
Yeah, they're not going to. I mean, there's no, well, especially from the way that she's spoken out. They're not going to have Dakota Johnson come back anytime soon.
Fair point, but anybody, like even bringing Tom Hardy in, you're blessing that universe. You know?
Yeah, their justification
Michael Keaton could come back. I mean,
right. Well, the justification for Venom is like, well, he's the only one that's still allowed over for Christmas dinner because he made us money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so you could see them justifying that one. The other ones. Then I agree with you. It's like you got to really clean it up. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
But then you're bringing in Ghost Rider and Mephisto.
I know.
Jeff talked about this on Hot Mic because he was breaking the Mephisto thing, and I was like, I don't understand Mephisto. That's otherworld. I get one day, but we haven't established that with Spider-Man at all. You know, and so sorry about that. And I think that would be so odd to see that happen. I guess my Flashpoint got mad at me for that.
I don't blame it. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. There's a lot more stuff coming out, and it could be one of those things that we just say, "Hey, we might have gotten it wrong. This is a pretty great movie."
I'm 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna because we don't even know who's directing. Who's directing? We do know who's directing Spider-Man. No, are you sure we don't know?
It's just Destin Daniel Cretton. Yeah, right. But we don't know.
And
who, what the story is, right? And so
so that's now. Wait a minute. Now, what did he do recently?
Shang-Chi.
Right. Okay. So he's used to doing already the big, and that was my biggest problem with Shang-Chi. I like the first two acts of Shang-Chi very much when they focused in on the father-son relationship and all those things. And then once they got to the big Marvel-esque side of it with the big stupid dragon at the end and all that stuff, that's when they lost me. I was just like, oh, this is just the same generic shit that we've been seeing. And I hope that they don't turn Spider-Man into that. That's what I hope they don't do.
Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, I think Destin will understand how to approach this. But the thing is, how do you hire the director without having the story? That is a very strange thing to me. And they seem to be very clearly still figuring out the script, what characters are involved. And I know Destin's is advising all across the board on this, but I still think it's weird to hire a director before you even have a story. How do you know you want to tell this
unless
story?
They really do have a story and they've been having it for a while, and then they're finding things are just starting to come out now.
Oh, maybe. Things are going to leak out, possibly.
I don't know. What do you guys think about all this? Put your comments in there. Put your thoughts in there, whether you're watching on the rewatch, whether you're in the live chat right now. Please let us know. Okay, we have tons to talk about still, and then we're going to have a bunch of conversations about the questions that are coming in. But before we do, I got some good deals for you. You still have a couple days left. Well, not really. A couple days. But let me tell you about Via. A lot of people have been signing up for Via. Here you go. You're welcome. Yep, I gave you the gift of Via. That's right. And I'm going to give it to you again. If you want to break from the crowded stores and the endless gift lists, you restore your zen and you embrace the natural power of cannabis this holiday season with Via. This holiday season, you got to unwind, you recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Via is well renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, and they legally ship to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. There's no medical card required. Right now, Via is having a huge holiday sale. For a limited time, you can save up to 25% off of site-wide plus up to 50% off select items and bundles. So if you are 21 and up, check out our link to Via's website in the description. I absolutely love Via. There's so many different things. It does feel like Christmas when you get it. Anyway, my favorite one is the sleep one. I really dig it. It's wonderful. Really nice dreams. Use that code Kristian for 25% off. And after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. You got to support our show, and you tell them that we sent you this holiday season. Enhance your everyday with Via. You're welcome. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. I've talked about BetterHelp. I've told you guys about BetterHelp for at least got to be 2 years now. Roxy talks about it all of the time. And if you want to stay cozy during the winter, whether it's bundling yourself up, being with loved ones, I'll tell you, a great way to bring some comfort into your life is therapy. It just never goes away, even when the season changes. Now, as I mentioned to you, I've got family members who have been with BetterHelp. Roxy talks about it all the time, and the benefits Roxy has had from BetterHelp has just been tremendous. I just remember that day when I recommended to her, and she was in not a great place. And now she talks about it all the time, and it's convenient because if you're thinking about therapy, you should give BetterHelp a try because it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist. You switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. You got to visit BetterHelp.com/bigthing and get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. All right. Thank you to BetterHelp and to Via. Really appreciate them being on board. Links are in the description as always. All right, John, I talked about it beforehand about how, when I'm wrong, I me. If I say, hey, I'm wrong, I'll say it.
I don't have that experience. Yes.
You don't have that experience for yourself. That's true. I don't think I've ever heard you say that. But
please,
I will say that Luke, one of our producers of the show, was pretty adamant. He said, listen, Sonic is going to beat Mufasa. I said, no way. Not going to happen. Mufasa, Lion King 1.2. They would have to have a major Joker 2 like experience in order for that to happen. Well, that's exactly what happened.
Funny you should say.
Funny you should say, because Sonic not only beat Mufasa had a disastrous opening weekend. Hedgehog mauls Lion King in the U.S. Paramount's Sonic the Hedgehog 3 dominated the domestic box office this weekend, and while slightly too rosy estimated have cooled a little, it's set to be a strong performer for the next few weeks. The well-reviewed title snagged $62 million domestically in the pre-Christmas frame, along with nabbing a cinema score in exit polls suggesting it's going to have long legs. Coming in at a cost-effective $122, that's another reason. The film is tracking similar to the previous movies, better than the first, but not quite as not high as the second. The film doesn't open overseas until Christmas, so those numbers aren't in yet. The facts were more mixed for Mufasa. $200 million budget, which is a crime. Had a bad domestic $35 million start, a Joker sequel level drop of 82% from the $192 million opening of Jon Favreau's. Had $192 million opening. Wow. Jon Favreau's 2019 The Lion King adaptation. This is a prequel. That's not good, but overseas may end up saving the film's reputation slightly. The title opened this week in numerous overseas territories and fared well, taking $87.2 million from those marks and pushing the opening weekend global gross to $122 million globally. Even so, that is behind pre-release expectations of $50 million domestic, $130 overseas. The film landed a solid A- cinema score, and Disney is hoping audiences will turn out over the Christmas break to check it out. Sonic benefits from being a male-oriented blockbuster and family-friendly title in a marketplace, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Wicked and Moana 2 are finally both cooling down after stellar runs. Both are performing, though. The Moana sequel nabbed a further $13 million domestic and $32 overseas, with Wicked taking in $13.5, domestically $13.2, bringing their totals to $790 million for Moana 2 and $571 for Wicked. Now, go ahead, John Webb.
It's wow. I'm just surprised. Yeah.
And limited release, Brutalist, which it was so funny. I was reading your tweet about the length of movies, and I felt like you were talking to me because 4 hours, man, I'm at home and I still don't want to watch a 4-hour movie. I don't care how artistic or not. I'm like, and I'm sure it's great. I finished September 5th, which I really liked a lot.
That was good too.
Solid movie. I finished A Real Pain.
Yes.
Which is a good movie.
I like that. Was fun. I like that. I don't know if I buy all the nominations for him, but I like the movie.
Who's getting nominated? Kieran?
Kieran, they're talking about him for Best Supporting Actor. Like
he's good in it, but I feel like this is the role he plays all the time now.
I was just going to say, it's literally the same thing he played in Succession. There's literally no difference. And then watching him in that conversation with Coleman Domingo, where he talks about he just rolls out of bed and shows up on set and just does his thing and rolls out.
He's
I'm like,
being himself. He's like, this
I don't want to give an actor award to that.
It just feels like it feels like he's just good at that thing. Like he's good.
Yes.
He's good at being snarky, and he's good at if you see him in interviews and stuff too, he just has that in his personality. And it's not to take away from the performance; it's really good, but I don't think he dives too deep into it. Like, I don't know. I mean, you look at something like even though I don't love the movie as much as everybody else does, I liked it a lot. The substance, I think Demi Moore 100% deserves a nomination for that.
Yeah,
she's so good in that movie. She's so good in it. But anyway, that I watched that one. Did I watch something else? I feel like I finished something. I started what's the baby girl? The Nicole Kidman.
Oh yeah, the Nicole Kidman one.
Did you watch that?
You're in for a hell of a thing.
It's good. You liked it?
I liked it, but it's out there.
Okay, it's out there. Okay, because I'm gonna see how that is. She's always banging younger dudes though.
Well, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. What can you say?
Do whatever you want to do. Have a blast. Hey, you can do it. Go for it. I mean, I don't think
so is Michael Douglas all the time, banging young women all the time.
I mean, not anymore. He can't even stand up in the movies. He needs a rest. He's an old man. You gotta give him a break. But either way, so the box office here, I still think. Look, is there an outside chance with numbers from overseas that Mufasa does beat Sonic overseas? Is it possible? I mean, without. Sure. I mean, the only way that is possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but the only way that it's possible is if the domestic, if like they say in that article, like they do have that people going, okay, it's Christmas time, we're taking the kids to go see something, we're going to take them to see Mufasa, and then Mufasa gets a big run during the holidays, and it has because that's happened before. I know, but I don't think it's going to happen either. I don't disagree with your head shake.
I don't see the interest overall online or anywhere where that would be the option. I think they'd take him to go see Sonic 3 more times before they take him to Mufasa once. And it's not about anything other than it's just not a good movie. Michael Vogel, massive Disney fan, texted me over the weekend. He's like, that movie was not good. Yeah. And so it's like, if even a hardcore Disney fan isn't liking that movie, then that tells you what's going on there. So
did you see it?
I have not seen it. Yeah. I probably will go this week. I'll probably make myself go this week and see. And I got to see Sonic 3. I have to see Sonic 2 first, then watch Sonic 3. But yes, I will make myself go see these films. But dude, like I've said before, man, when I hear a lot of people not liking a movie, I don't have the inclination to go put myself in a theater and see it.
You should see Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is a very good movie.
This I do want to see because it's good.
Sonic's a good movie. I enjoyed that movie a lot. I don't hate Mufasa the way everybody else does. I don't think it's very good. I said that, it's like, I do think if you're going to see it though, you should see it in IMAX if you are going to see it.
Right. I will totally see it.
There are times that it's times that it really looks gorgeous. It really does. It's just, sometimes things don't feel that, sometimes people go, this wasn't necessary. And you go, well, everything's necessary if you can make it work. This does not feel necessary. Right. This doesn't feel necessary. It doesn't feel like it. It just feels like, hey, what if we made a prequel to Throw a Dart? What do we hit? Lion King. Let's make a prequel to Lion King. And I just think Barry Jenkins was kind of wasted making this movie.
I think Barry let us know a few weeks ago where he was about the movie, and he tried to cover up what he said and backtrack a little bit. But he said, "I don't ever want to make movies like this again."
Yeah,
and that to me, no matter what he said afterwards, we cleared it up. I don't care. People tell the truth when you catch them with their guards down. And he told the truth in that interview and saying, like, this was an exhausting experience. I wasn't sure they could really bring out the emotion in certain things. I don't know how they were able to bring out the emotion. It's not a way I want to do films. I like to be able to touch the actors. I like to be able to kind of, craft the performances to fit within the thing I'm trying to tell. And in the end, that's not how he felt. And so to me, I think he knew he didn't have a good film and did his best to promote it. But it's like Craven, right? What's his face coming out there going, please come see our movie. Please come. It's, separate it. It's like, those are tells. Those are always tells.
Yeah, it is. It's because you can, the tracking and those things, where people go, tracking doesn't mean anything. It's not true. I mean, there's a lot of times that they either overshoot or undershoot. That's definitely true also, but there's a reason that it happens. And I just think that, I don't know. And I just feel that if you're going to take family, because overall, the holidays are going to be like family times to go out and see some movies too, right?
Sure.
So if you're going to now, and that was, I wonder what kind of competition the Lion King Jon Favreau movie had. Do you mind looking that up?
Yeah, look it up.
I wonder what kind of competition it had, because Sonic on its third movie is hard competition, especially when word of mouth isn't great on the other one. And if you're, and I'm telling you that if you're for a family, if you're like, okay, I'm going to take the kids to go see a movie this weekend, what am I going to go take them to see? You're going to be happy that you took them to see Sonic, because I feel like Sonic plays to everyone. I think everyone's going to be looking at it going, oh yeah, that was the other thing, is that The Lion King was also a summer movie. So it did have some competition, but still it was a summer movie and had more time to, you're going out in the cold and you're going to go see a movie. You take the family out to see it. You're going to be happy you took them to see Sonic, because it's going to be one of those things that I think everybody's going to play to. And I think little kids are going to enjoy Mufasa more than everybody. You know what I mean? And that's not what you need. You need everybody to enjoy it.
If I'm reading this right, Spider-Man Far From Home was still in the theaters when Lion King came out in July of 2019.
Maybe still different audience.
Toy Story 4.
Ooh, really? They went up against each other?
Yeah, they were like, it was like right on the tail end, right? Because they had, at this point, Toy Story 4 had already made $365 million domestically. Then you had Yesterday, one of my favorite films, the Beatles one.
Yeah.
Aladdin, the live action Aladdin was still in it. Stuber,
right? Was still, but what opened up? What opened up that weekend with it though? Because you have a couple of weeks, in
the calendar.
Theater. Like that's what I'm curious about.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, because 2000. Because I remember all those movies that you're talking about. They were distance in between themselves, and the question is like, what did it have? Because opening up against Sonic is not putting yourself,
in the best position.
Yeah.
So
I mean that's what I'm saying. I think that for Mufasa, you're gonna lose people, because that one's built more towards, you gotta put these movies out that everyone can enjoy. And when you're just putting them out, this is like, oh my god, like you could see, like there are movies that I've taken my kids to that I've like closed my eyes and I'm gonna fall asleep now and just let them watch it. And as opposed to like, Sonic, I wouldn't want to fall asleep in that. I'd be like, I'm gonna watch this this is literally for everybody to enjoy.
So nothing else came out against Lion King on that weekend. It was a David Crosby documentary and something called Loose.
No competition.
No competition. But the week before, it was Crawl and Stuber, The Art of Self-Defense, The Farewell.
Nothing.
And then the week before that was Midsommar. And then July 2nd was when Spider-Man Far From Home came out.
So no family movies really.
Right.
No family
and then
movies.
Tarantino the next week, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
Yes, no
family movies.
Family movies came out.
So it was this was a bad time to put it against a movie that Sonic 1, Sonic 2 were really beloved, and then that third one comes out, more hype behind it as opposed to a prequel to The Lion King. So
it may have been that they thought this thing would be in consideration for awards, so they wanted to drop it in December.
Now you get Barry Jenkins a part of it, then why wouldn't you want to do that? So
sure, 100%. You're up something right.
All right, so you guys, what do you think about this? Do you feel that is there a shot that Mufasa can have a comeback? In the way that like Aquaman did. Remember, Aquaman started out rough, and then around this time period, then came back and did fairly well. Can Mufasa do the same thing, or no shot in hell? Put your thoughts in there and let us know. One of the more anticipated things that we got coming out next year, John, is Andor season 2, right?
Yeah.
Now Andor season 1 had a pretty healthy budget. I think it was pretty solid for what they were doing, and as opposed to like Obi-Wan, which had this still baffling. I think it was like one of the lowest ones. Well, Andor season 2 is not messing around. Andor season 2 costs over $291 million.
Yeah.
Disney has revealed that the cost of making its highly acclaimed Star Wars streaming series Andor has surged to $645 million over its 2 seasons to date, after it spent a record $290.9 million in 2023 on filming the show's second season, reports Forbes. The outlet has gone through the recently disclosed and publicly filed records, which revealed the highest ever annual spending on a Star Wars production. It beats the previous record spend of $280.7 spent on The Last Jedi. The $291 million figure is hardly the final cost for the show's second season, as the records only cover spending to November 22nd. Due to the SAG-AFTRA strikes, production on the second season was suspended across the back half of 2023. Shooting then resumed in January this year and wrapped the following month. That has been followed by a year of post-production with the visual effects added. The first season racked up tens of millions in cost for post-production. The second will certainly do the same, but those costs won't publicly be released until the end of the year. Production makes heavy use of practical effects and physical sets, which partly explains the large cost for the filming phase. Production companies filming in the UK have to file annual financial statements due to reveals. Doing so reveals the cost of streaming shows in terms of production, but not marketing costs. Filming also reveals that the filings also reveals that the series has received a massive $129.3 million reimbursement in return for filming in the UK, with financial statements confirming the final cost was forecasted to be within the production budget. September came the news that Acolyte came in at a cost of $231 for the 8 episodes, working out to $28.7 per episode. Andor Season 2 comes at a 12-episode count event with more added for post-production and will potentially be close to the Acolyte on a per-episode cost. Yeah, with a lot of difference, though, and we'll discuss that in a second. The first thing that I will say, because we're talking about Star Wars, and I want to say this the other day, it's hilarious, and I'm sure that you probably get this more than I do, but you get called either one word or the other when it comes to when you're either too positive or too negative or whatever.
Oh,
Hilarious. And I'm going to repeat something that I said on Friday because it was a Capes and Cowls thing, and it wasn't, and it was a Star Wars thing, but I made this thing, and then someone, recently, every time we talk about Star Wars, all I get is, "Oh, it's Star Wars, you're too negative now. Why do you even talk about it anymore?" And then I saw a comment from some moron the other day who was like, "Here goes Harloff just promoting Star Wars and loving Star Wars again." And I wrote him back. I said, "You got to go to one of the meetings. You've missed too many meetings. The meetings now cover the fact that I don't like Star Wars anymore, and I don't like it. You got to decide which one I am before you're missing too many meetings." Because you have to understand. But what I said the other day, John, and I don't know if you guys covered this yet, you might not have.
Okay.
But what I had been saying to you many times over was how I think that Star Wars needs a regime change, and nothing's gonna happen until they do this, right? And I said on the show the other day that I am going to stop saying that now.
Okay.
Because my friend Derek Hoffman, who I've known for a very long time. He was one of the major players at the Richard Donner company, part of Deadpool, X-Men, Legion, like all these different things. Worked on a lot. He's been on the show before. He's a great guy. I've known him for 20 years. This is Derek's post. Almost 25 years ago, I walked into a bungalow in the Fox lot to interview for a PA gig. I didn't even know what the movie was. As soon as I walked through the door, I saw images of characters I'd grown up loving. I turned to the guy at the desk next to the door and I asked, "Is this X-Men? What's going on with Colossus and Kitty? Is Nightcrawler in it?" Thankfully, that guy was Kevin Feige. He took me to meet 2 people who would change my life. Dick and Lauren Schuler Donner have helped me grow as a person and a professional. I often say that they are even better people than they are filmmakers, which is astounding considering what great filmmakers they are. The lessons learned, the laughs shared, and the relationships formed during my time at the Donner's Company deserve more than I give them here, and they have prepared me for what is next. I am very honored to say that I have now joined the team at Lucasfilm, and I can't wait to help tell stories in a whole new galaxy. Derek Hoffman gets it. Derek Hoffman understands the basis and the understanding of Star Wars. I've talked to him about Star Wars. Before I left for New York, him and I went to breakfast. Like, I don't know, it had to be 10 times. And he just knows the property. The question is he going to be, I'll steal one of the things I hate to say. Is he going to be allowed to cook is the question. Right. And I wonder if that's the case. Now, one of the things they've done very well that I've been very vocal about is Andor. Right.
Yes.
Now I hope they continue to do Andor
very well.
Yeah.
And
I've been very
you watching about the show?
I just want to put some things in. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Andor. So we're watching Andor. Andor was great. Now look, the difference between they referenced how Acolyte costs all that money and Andor, is going to cost around the same. No, here's the difference. Andor season 1 wind up getting a lot of nominations. A lot of critical acclaim. Okay, and the episodes are closer to an hour.
Right.
And not 25 minutes and costing that much money. So, and you're doing these things in the way that they're putting it together, it makes a lot of sense. Now it's very expensive. If it was the first season, I would be scratching my head and not understanding why they were doing this.
Right.
It's the second and final season leading into, and it's really the only real kind of movie they have until Mandalorian and Grogu comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm going to be hypocritical here, but I feel Tony Gilroy and the crew is going to use this money right. And so I don't give a shit that it's so expensive.
Yeah, I could care less.
Yeah.
I'm like, good. Make it as expensive as possible. That means we're going to get some incredible special effects, some insane scenes, and something tells me that they've brought in, they brought in actors of name and note, so who have been part of the Star Wars universe that are going to now overlap, who here with the time frame, and so you got to pay them. And so to me, this makes all the sense in the world. And because that first season was so good and the track record so good, they've earned getting this kind of money to go and create what they want to create in season 2 of Andor. And look, $250 million for Acolyte, that makes no sense. It's a first time show, and you've got a person who's walking in Star Wars for the first time.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
You gotta earn the money, and this has earned it after that first season, man. So to me, I saw this report. I didn't give two craps. All I thought was like, okay, great. When's this thing starting again? Awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see all that money on the screen. That's literally my only reaction, and moved right on, man.
I just put PLD in timeout.
Oh no, what happened? What did he say?
Oh, just because it was funny. He was cracking a joke, and I wanted to. I returned it by putting him in timeout for 5 minutes. So there you go.
I'm sure he's used to it in life. Yeah, go ahead.
He's been doing great stuff with us. So we have but
you know what? No, stick him in timeout. That's where
leave him there. Andor season 2 is one of my most hyped up things. I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited for that show. And if that's how much it costs to make the same type of quality that they made in season 1, like you said, we're going
to bigger places, Kristian. There's got to be more money spent.
Yeah. But it's funny, as someone said, well, isn't the Andor viewership below other people? Now, this is the other thing that people don't understand about streaming. This is the difference between, and I've made this clear so many different times, streaming and movies. If you have look at like Joker 2, we'll use an example, right? Joker 2's opening weekend was a disaster.
Yes.
Weekend 2, bad news for that one. So they didn't make their money in that, and they lost a lot of money. And then that was it. It just goes downhill from there. Streaming doesn't work that way. Streaming works very differently because people are still watching Battlestar Galactica and finding it now on certain platforms, because that's the beauty of streaming, right? So I remember there at one point, Battlestar Galactica, I think it was a couple of years ago, was like the #1 watch thing on Netflix or whatever it was on. It was the #1 watch thing in the ratings at that point.
Yeah.
Andor started out, people in the same way, like, what is this? Who knows what this is? If you're subscribed to Disney Plus and you're on it, and then you start hearing all of these things about it, people went back and started watching it. Why do you think that they greenlit or allowed a $290 million budget?
Yeah.
If it's like nobody's watching this, nobody watched this at all. It started out bad, it stayed bad. That's why they canceled Acolyte. It kept going back and down and down and down every week, and they couldn't justify. In the same way that you can't justify a movie if people, even if they really look at like Solo. A lot of people like Solo.
Yeah.
It made shit money. You can't justify a sequel on it. So if this, and you could probably justify it's like, hey, look, we really like working with Tony, but nobody's watching that show. All right, we'll do it. He can't do it for as much as he did last time. He's got to do it for like 100 million at the least. But no, it got all the nominations. It got all this stuff. People went back to start watching it. And guess what? Before season 2, people will go back and watch season 1 again.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And look, we just saw this with The Rock and his little Christmas movie. I mean, he was out there crowing about how that film got 50 million views, which broke a massive record for Prime Video on the first day that it was released. So that tells you streaming, when you come to it in a certain way, you understand how the model works for you. And certainly with Andor, as you said, Kristian, the amount of people who've come back and rediscovered it, who've through word of mouth, it's become the diehard of the Star Wars universe, in that everything that you do series-wise is compared to Andor or Mandalorian in terms of the style that you're going in, right? If you want a more artistic style, Andor is your choice. You want a more kind of much more 4-quadrant friendly, Mandalorian is your choice. So those are the two that have become the premier series for Star Wars. So it makes all the sense in the world to spend the money to keep going down that path, because that'll give you more attention, that'll give you more awards, and people will want to watch in larger numbers. And no way are we going to get the numbers we got in season 1. They're going to be much higher. And especially because Skeleton Crew seems to be being well received overall, that's going to be a nice kind of ramp up to lead us into Andor in a few months. So, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world.
It makes all the sense in the world. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. And I know that I'm a big advocate for lower budgets, but this one, it's like, hey, you proved that you made it work last time. You made it work. It looked great, and it is probably it's probably the best thing that they've done. It is still, I stand by it. It is the best written Star Wars anything since Empire. Easily.
I agree.
Easily.
I agree. 100%.
Easily. Okay. So what say you guys? Is this too much? Is it no? They shouldn't do this. This is way too much money. Put your comments in there only if you've been to the most recent meetings. Okay. So the other thing that I want to get to is this. Now, look, John, I've been telling you, like, you know, my history with Masters of the Universe and He-Man, and how like so long, you know, there haven't been any iterations of this thing from when I was at Silver to anybody else getting a hold of it that I was like, I'm just not excited. I don't think they understand what they're doing here. And then when Travis Knight came on, I said, okay, there's a guy, this guy gets it. I hate the following story.
Okay.
Masters of the Universe starts in the real world, as Matt Serra would say. Boo! Boo! A new report suggests the upcoming live-action He-Man Masters of the Universe is going to go an unexpected route. Daniel RPK reports that this version, Prince Adam, isn't a powerful warrior from Eternia. Instead, he's a young man stuck in a tedious real-world office job on Earth. Boo!
Oh, wow.
Boo!
What?
Boo! I'm stealing Sarah's stuff, but boo! Those fantasy tales of He-Man and he's fucking Neo. This fantasy tales of He-Man and his battles against Skeletor. Those are childhood stories. This is like Hook. Those are childhood stories. Adam growing up when he was little. Thus, the film won't be just a magic battle tale. We'll have a self-discovery. I hate this movie already. For the character. The report comes as the film star Nicholas Galzatine posted a photo of his Instagram stories, which is somewhat shown off how his gym work is going for the role of Adam. The normally skinny actor looked quite. I'm not saying that. He looked like he was working out.
How you doing, bros? How you doing, bros?
Doing that. The Amazon MGM studio and Marvel and Mattel film also stars yada yada yada. I hope this is a bullshit rumor.
Okay.
I told you the reason I got excited for Travis Knight is for the longest time. I was like, this is a guy that's going to understand it's Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings. You're starting a whole entire franchise now on Eternia and creating myth and they go to Earth. It was the worst part of the stupid Dolph Lundgren thing was once they got off of Eternia and went to Earth. I get it. He-Man is originally from Earth. I get it. I understand, but that's the whole point. Again, if he's Neo and he's not, the whole point was that he was taken to Eternia, and his sister and him were split up. It's boo. The fact that he's just there in working in this job on a regular job, and then he finds out it's like the Hook story.
Yeah.
Boo. I love Travis Knight. I hate this story so much. This sucks.
I mean, I just don't understand the logic of it all to make it. I guess you're trying to relate to people and make it relatable and universal by making him human. And it's almost walking the path of Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe that's the influence here, because you take Star-Lord, you take him, Peter Quill, off of Earth, and you put him with all these people, and he has to kind of navigate the situation, then puts together this team on accident. So maybe what you're seeing is that it's a beginning of him on Earth, and then he discovers this sword or whatever, and then this leads him on this adventure. But yeah, man, I don't understand. Why are people so afraid to do fantastical stuff without tying it to Earth in some way? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like take the original lore, people. It just shows no one knows how to crack this thing, man. I'm telling you. Like,
good point.
I saw it when I was there. It's like we had a great take on it. Justin Marks had a great take on it. And it was the idea, and again, basing it somewhere off like what the 2002 Cartoon Network thing did, the way that they played with that lore. Staying on Eternia, it's a different place, a different world. It's again science, magic. Stay off Earth. You don't need to do that. This is terrible. I was so excited for this movie. If this is true, I am so not excited for this movie anymore. This is such a stupid storyline. I hate this. I hate this story so much. It sucks. And if Travis Knight actually sees this, please, sir, change the script. Spend another $100 million on reshoots, please. Just do away with this. This is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. Please stop this. Please, I beg of you. Science versus magic. You do 3 movies. Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars. That's it. Boo.
Don't disagree.
Boo. All right. Last story before we get to the questions here, John.
Okay.
I know you haven't watched this yet, but Arcane is just brilliance. It's just
I know I need to watch this.
Pure
yes, go ahead.
brilliance, and I love it. So Arcane, I asked my daughter this first. I said, are there any plans to make spinoffs? And she told me yes. Well, that is indeed the truth. Highly acclaimed Netflix animated series Arcane, based on the League of Legends gaming franchise, wrapped its run last month after 2 seasons. At the time, it was indicated that while Arcane might be done, there was not the end for the League of Legends animated adaptations, with series co-creator Kristian Link indicating that multiple spin-off shows were in active development. In an exclusive interview with The Direct, Luke offered an update on the status of those spin-offs, saying they were pretty aggressively developed. We definitely have a number of products that kind are born out of Arcane. We are in the process where we're just developing it. Nothing is in full production yet, but we're pretty aggressively developing a few of them, in particular that we're just excited about. The Emmy winner also confirmed that only some will be continuations of the Arcane storyline. Some of the others are not. We want to tell more stories. Some of the ones that we are developing right now are completely new characters from our IP, and others are a continuation of Arcane. Part of the issues with Arcane was expense. The 2 seasons cost $250 to produce, making it the most expensive animated series of all time. Nonetheless, it scored a lot of acclaim and is one of the best game-to-screen adaptations ever made, even with the consensus for the 2nd season not as universally gushing as the first. I like the first one better, but I did really enjoy the 2nd season a lot. But I'm glad spinoffs are coming. And I want to see more in this world. I also love that he said that it's not just the Arcane storyline; it's other characters. You've earned my trust.
Sure,
you've earned my trust. Give me some new characters. I didn't know who any of these people were beforehand, so you've earned my trust. Do whatever the hell you're going to do. Spin it off. Let's get nuts. My question is this though.
Yeah.
Where is the report of turning Arcane into a live action movie?
Ooh, why are you rushing? What is the rush here?
I want to see the movie.
What?
I want to see a live action movie. Are you kidding? The rush is no rush. It's going to take 3 or 4 years to make it.
I guess. I just think it's dangerous to. Maybe they just want to exist here because they can do more creatively.
You haven't seen the movie. You haven't seen the series though.
I haven't.
I know your brain. Yeah. I'm telling you. You see this. This is cinematic stuff. This is cinematic stuff. And you are wrong, Finnimator. You are wrong. Nothing needs to be live action. You are wrong. This needs to be. I'll give you. Sometimes opinions are opinions. You are wrong. This needs to be a live action eventually. It is built for live action. Like the world is built for live action. The emotions, big, huge performances. I would love to see. Look, and the thing is too, fans of the animation like myself will say, oh, it can stay animated. Yeah, but guess what? Not everybody loves animated, and not everybody will.
Oh, you're right.
Now this is to go with our buddy film animator who lets us know every stream. This is not an animation for kids. This is absolutely not. This is adult based. But what I will tell you is that not everybody loves animation. Some people won't even watch it, whether that's right or wrong. They won't even watch it. And I think the story is to be told. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great world. It would really, really be great in live action.
All right. You got to see it. I have to see it and make up my own mind. But yeah, I'd have. But you know what could be fun down the road, Kristian, when I finally watch these, which will probably be over the next couple of weeks, watching both seasons, is we could like fan cast it as a segment on the show, maybe on a slow morning on a Monday in January. We could fan cast a live action.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Okay. Look, my wife is someone who just like in that story, I know my wife well enough that the story of Arcane and with the emotions, the way it's played, if it was live action, my wife would be on board. My daughter's been trying to get my wife to watch it. My wife won't watch it because it's animated. She just won't watch it.
Oh,
She's like,
okay.
I'm all right. She won't watch it. There's very few things that she'll watch on animated. But I would love to see it. Nonetheless, that's not the story. The story is that they're going to be doing some spin-off stuff. I'm glad to be living in that world. And I would say, as where you say, why rush it? I'm talking maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years to do one, right? Whenever it is. This is, you'll see it. You'll see it when you watch it. Yeah. This is a world that can live in live. So fun. Do you see Nora, by the way? Because I'm gonna address this person's super chat later, but I just saw some.
Do I see? No, I don't watch the. You told me not to watch. I don't watch the chat. What's going on?
Did you see Nora?
Oh, I thought you meant a person who's named Anora. Yes, I saw Anora, the movie. Yes, I like this movie.
I did too. That movie, and I tweeted this out, is hilarious for the most part. It's hilarious.
It's a comedy.
It's a and someone said it's definitely not a comedy. I have to push back so hard that if a person was there, they'd wind up getting pushed off a cliff because that's how hard I'm pushing back. I think that, look, the ending of the movie, clearly not funny. There's some moments in it that aren't funny. And I thought that it was like, this is a Pretty Woman knockoff at first, because Pretty Woman was the original movie. Pretty Woman was a drama that it was called 3000, where the end of the movie, Julia Roberts' character gets kicked out of the car. Richard Gere throws money on her and takes off. It was a fantasy in her head. It was
a terrible ending.
Fucked up dark movie, and then they turned it into a fairy tale. So when this movie started, I said, "Oh shit, they're going with the dark version of Pretty Woman. Is what they're going to do." Mm-hmm. And I texted Roxy as I'm watching it, and I'm texting, and I go, "This is just a remake of Pretty Woman." And she's like, "Keep watching." And then right after that text, the movie just changes completely, and it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. It's a funny movie.
When the three guys come in, then it becomes a comedy.
Yes. And the end is pretty. I'll just say there's a car scene that's pretty. That is not a comedy, but just because there's one or two scenes in a movie, it's a dramedy. You can at least say that. But for the most part of that movie, I was laughing my face off. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think it's absolutely a comedy.
Alex, you're wrong. Someone said Alex is not Pretty Woman. The first half an hour is 100%. The director even said it. Was like, we realize we have tons of similarities with Pretty Woman. And then it changes. But if you're saying the whole movie is not Pretty Woman, then I agree with you. But like the first half an hour is clearly Pretty Woman. Anyway, or 3000, we should say. But it was a really good movie. I liked Nora a lot.
I thought Mikey Madison was fantastic. I've seen some of my fellow critics in these voting boards think that she didn't do anything that was that spectacular, and I'm like, what are you talking about? She was fucking insanely good in this movie. And I didn't watch Better Things, the show she was on on FX, so I had no idea who Mikey Madison even was. And I watched this film, and I'm like, this was excellent. She is someone that should be in everything now. She's so good. So.
And it was funny. I couldn't tell. There were times I was like, oh, it was an authentic New York. And sometimes I thought she was overcooking the New York. But for the most part, I thought she was pretty damn good. Yeah. That's just pretty good.
And Yuri, I hope that Yuri guy gets nominated.
Yeah, he was good too.
Actor.
He was good too. Yeah. So it was a really good movie, and that one might make the top 10. I don't know yet.
Oh, I think I tell you right now, it does. It absolutely makes my top 10.
I got to look because I haven't seen everything yet. Too. What I was going to do is this Thursday, I was going to put together my top 10, but I realized that there are a couple of things that I still haven't seen. So I think Thursday, what I'm going to do that I normally do the opposite. I think I'm going to put Thursday, I'm going to put my top 10 most anticipated for 2025.
All right.
And then I think on Tuesday of next week, I'm going to put on my my top 10 of the year.
Right.
So,
and then
I'm looking. I think what I'm going to try to do is one of two things. I'm going to reach out to Dan.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if we can get, if we can't, I'm going to see if we can record it on Monday. And if we can, if we do it live, is just too hard for that show because I got to put in all the assets and stuff. So I got to figure out how we're going to do it. But if Dan, even if we put it in the first or second day of January.
We could do it live, just drag PLD out of timeout and make him prepare everything ahead of time and put his butt in the fire. He's been living a little high on the hog on your love of him, and he's got to prove it every once in a while. And I think him stepping up to the plate and moving quick, putting stuff up quick and being on top of stuff, I think, it's a good way to earn his money, earn his keep.
Yeah, so you guys, it's so funny because, do you know, I don't know if you know this because there's no way, I'm throwing PLD under the bus here. Do you know that every single time that you are in the lead And
Yeah.
if somebody's getting close, do you know that PLD puts super chats in for people to try to beat you?
Oh, that's finger on the scale. That should not be allowed. In fact, I should be getting that money. That's finger on the scale.
If they
That's
were winning,
a shame.
if they were winning by 1, then I'd say, oh, I don't know the PLD factor, but they usually win by a little bit more than that. So
that's a shame that he would do that. That's a lot of anger. You need to go to see somebody about that kind of anger, man.
Well,
Don't make me come down to Houston and take your wife out to dinner. For God's sake.
Stop that! Now you get
Oh,
personal.
come on. The old outlaw came out.
That's
there.
right. Did you? By the way, are you watching Skeleton Crew?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I went through the first 4 episodes. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. What's up?
No, I just haven't seen it since the second one. I haven't gone back and watched.
Oh, you know what I want to ask you about?
Yeah.
Have you watched Pop Culture Jeopardy yet? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah. I saw Jacoby and so it was Jacoby, Paul, and oh my God, and Jacob, right?
Right. Yes.
And
against Whitney Siebold and his wife.
Who was it? It was Jacoby, Paul? No, Nick. It was Nick. Jacoby,
Yeah.
and so they went on, and so all 3 of them, and it was funny because Colin Jost was talking, how'd you guys meet? And he was, and God bless Jacoby, started to tell him about, the Schmodown and how it was, and Jost kind of, threw a joke at it, which I was like, oh, he couldn't, that's all you could go with it. But I was happy to see the 3 guys up there doing what
maybe they weren't allowed to say the name. Because I thought it was odd they wouldn't say the name, so it's odd. But I thought Paul was great, and Whitney. I had no idea. First of all, I didn't know Whitney was married, and so it was kind of fun to see his wife up there. Yeah, I didn't. And then the
Jacoby?
answers to all the questions and stuff. That was really
Jacoby,
cool.
you mean?
No, Whitney. Whitney was their competition. Whitney Siebold. He was on the other team. Yes.
Wait, I didn't. What
watch this episode at all?
Which episode?
Maybe you went ahead and watched where Paul and them keep going because
I only
spoiler alert. The first episode, I think it's episode 7 when they play each other. That's the first round, and he beats Whitney.
Oh, I didn't see Whitney in there. So Whitney and
Whitney and his wife and a friend of theirs. He met his wife at a party. I think taking care of that friend. That's how he met his wife, who was also friends with that girl, and so that's how they got. So,
I didn't know Whitney was in it.
Yeah, they acquitted themselves well, and I immediately texted Mike and Shannon. Was like, "We need to get on there as the Geek Buddies," it's not a long running show. They just did a tournament, and maybe they'll do a second season, and we'll apply for that.
Well, you'll be the one guy that actually says the name of the show.
I will absolutely say the name of the show. Of course, I will. I'll even show up in a cowboy hat.
Yeah, all the movie trivia Schmodown people are going to make that show. We're going to turn that show into just Schmodown round 2.
Not PLD though. Not PLD.
Not PLD.
We couldn't qualify.
No, poor PLD. All right, so let's get into these questions. Before we do, John, what do you got going on the channel?
I got Derek Johnson coming back. Derek, every time PLD puts in a super chat, put in one for me. Like I want Derek Johnson to be my avatar in this world.
I haven't seen Derek in a couple of weeks. Is he here today?
Derek in a bit. Maybe he spent all his money, so he's got to
he's taking a break. Yeah.
For me, you can always follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. But my YouTube channel, come and hang out with us there. YouTube.com/John Rocha Says, The Outlaw Nation. Gonna have content all week. We're recording our Dune Prophecy finale review today. We're also going to review the first 2 episodes of What If Volume 3, which quietly came out yesterday. And then Michael and I will continue reviewing them every day or in a chunk, like maybe 2 or 3 at a time. That'll be this week. Obviously, we'll hit Skeleton Crew with Geek Buddies and with Jedi Way. And we do have a hot mic scheduled for this week. So although there'll be Christmas and Christmas Eve, we're not taking a break from the shows. We're going to still continue giving you content this week on the Outlaw Nation. So come hang out with us and subscribe, but not PLD. You can't subscribe. Your wife can subscribe PLD, but you can't.
You stop doing that.
What am I saying?
All right. Vincent Zawada. Happy holidays. Hope you do a show with Dan and John. Yeah, well, that's the goal. Yeah. I'm going to reach out to one of the things on my list today is to make sure that I reach out to both the guys. Now, it's only it's one of my favorite things to do every year. So it'll be our 3rd year if we can actually get it done. So we want to do it. We've already been texting. All 3 of us are ready to do it. It's just a matter of when. John, you're at 50 so far. So you're setting the bar here because only Winston A. Marshall is your competition this week. So you got a good shot to win here.
Come on, Winston. Yeah.
Hank Pym. What Sonyverse movie would you greenlight? Uncle Ben / Aunt May rom-com for $5 million? Lizard body horror for $25 million, or a Daily Bugle workplace comedy? That's it. The Daily Bugle. That's it. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, like in the style of The Office.
J. Jonah Jameson is built for that.
Yes,
oh my
100%.
God, yes.
The no-brainer. Go Pal. Can't watch live today. Well, thank you, sir. But support and congratulations on the big division victory Monday for the football team over the hated Eagles. Merry Christmas. Yeah. You were tweeting out. You were counting them out.
I said, yeah, well, because we were playing like crap for a majority of the game. We turned the ball over 5 times. You can't do that against a premier defense in the NFL and expect to win the game. But somehow, some way, because of the terrible quarterbacking play of Kenny Pickett, we were able to come back and win that game thanks to the ice cold Jaden Daniels. Like, he's got ice in his veins, man. He's incredible. So yeah, it's a fun season. Look, I have no expectations for this team. It's just fun. Nobody expected us to be in a position to win 10 games and possibly qualify for the playoffs. So whatever the end result is in the playoffs, I could care less. The fact that we're winning games and in contention is so much fun.
Could not care less. Okay. All right. Ewok. That fake AI-produced Jurassic World Rebirth trailer where ScarJo turns into a dinosaur is hilarious. Good to know that AI has a sense of humor. I heard about it. I didn't see it, though. Did you see it?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I try not to see that kind of stuff, because it's like you're, in a way, giving it a view. You're actually condoning people using AI to do these kinds of things. I don't know if I'm 100% there yet, but I probably will peep. I saw still images on social media, but I didn't watch it. So,
yeah, I haven't seen it. All right. Tom Hanks. John. You can get Xbox Series S for $250 to play all digital games if you want to play that indie game sooner before PS5 releases, or really? Game Pass for $20. Yeah, Game Pass is what I have, but I actually bought the game. Game Pass, I think it is available on Game Pass. You put $20 a month for Game Pass, you can play a whole bunch of games and stuff.
I thought you could only play it on the Xbox Series X. You can play it on the Xbox Series S. That changes my whole perception.
That's what he says. Mike Joyce. Happy Festivus. Thanks, Mike.
Hey.
What was your biggest grievance and feat of strength this year? Consider a donation to the Human Fund. Money for people. Well, thank you, Mike. Biggest grievance and fear. Well, I guess the biggest, I don't know, is grievance. I mean, look, leaving my friends in LA was tough to do. That was hard to do, but like this, and I guess the same idea with the feat of strength was also picking up and saying, look, this is gonna be a better move for my family and I. And even though I had to scrape ice off my car this morning, it was worth it.
Yeah, good point.
How about yourself?
Biggest grievance? I don't know. The fact that people still want to put some toxic content on your YouTube channel and in their comment section, that's always going to be my biggest grievance, I think. And of course, in my personal opinion, the election, but that's my own feelings. And biggest feat of strength, I think, to keep going. Like, really, honestly, this was a tough year for me, emotionally and mental health wise. And the fact that I keep going every week, it's a feat of strength every week to keep going. And thankfully, I have an awesome support system. And so, yeah, I think that would be my feat of strength. There you go.
Next one is from Mike Joyce. Mads Mikkelsen was too good for a kids movie. He was, and I'm telling you, I want people to hear that song. Bye bye. Did I tell you this, John? Were you on the show when I talked about this?
I don't think so. What is this?
So he, I've talked about it 2 or 3 times already, but like
Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen is the villain in Mufasa. He's like this pale white lion. He's pretty terrifying, right? But the one song that he sings just doesn't fit the character. The song's fine, I guess, but he's like, and then I blah, 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 and then after I beat you, I say bye bye, and it's so weird. It's a bye bye. I hate it. Mike Joyce, I don't think any movie made me laugh more than Sonic 3 this year. It's so wonderfully absurd. I hope Jim Carrey never retires. He's not going to retire. And the same with him.
I like that he's coming back, brother.
Yeah, he's not retiring because this is why I say I just don't like when people say they were like Quentin Tarantino ain't retiring. It's like even Daniel Day-Lewis said he was going to retire. He's coming back for his son's thing, right? Unless you just physically, it's like Gene Hackman. I understand Gene Hackman's got to retire. I get it, but like
he's got too old.
He's too old. But it's like you don't. I mean, Clint Eastwood isn't retired, and he's like 175 years old. It's like so. So stop. Stop saying I'm retiring.
I'm only 91, you bastard.
I know. I like that Jura movie though. It was a good movie.
It's on Max. People should watch it. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Armada. Yeah. The Saturday Night Live parking bit last week was great. Is that?
Oh my god!
Is it on this Saturday?
I loved it.
Sorry,
Chris, I cut you off. Sorry,
no, it's okay. The only thing that I saw from the show so far was the joke trading between Jost and Trey, which was hilarious.
Getting Scarlett in on that. Oh my god, I was so surprised. Yeah, no, it was a good one. I thought the Grinch sketch was funny, but that opening parking sketch was fantastic. Absolutely. I have been in that car before on both sides of that situation. That was so well done. So well. And Melissa McCarthy, of course, as she always does, stole that sketch at the end. She's so good.
Okay. So then that was from this week?
Yeah, SNL. Yeah, they brought out the big guns
Okay. Makes
for
sense.
SNL because it was Five Timers Club. So
Yeah,
like Hanks.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Armada. Also, Kristian, are you going to are you going to be a big shot and interview Dice? Listen, I can get Dice on the show. I'd love to.
Come
love
on.
to get him on. Why not?
Please let me come on for 5 minutes.
And you've been obsessed with his Instagram, haven't you?
I love Dice. Come on.
And you love his Instagram.
I do. I love his Instagram.
It is
People should subscribe.
It really is the best thing going. 55 questions right now. They're putting up this battle between you and Winston. Very curious to see how he's going to do without Coy this week. We'll see.
Oh,
we'll see. No Coy, just Winston. So it's one on
one. His own white lion. Go ahead. Yes.
One on one with a great one. JJ Skywalker. Do you guys still collect Blu-rays, 4Ks? So the answer is not as much as I used to. I still have I gave away a lot when I moved, but I give a lot to JTE actually. Nice. That's when I knew Snyder stole. I told him that I knew Snyder stole the belt. I should, when he was on the show and we talked about that Jeremy Allen White thing, I should have confronted him about that because he lied to me right to my face when I asked him about it. But anyway, so what I was gonna say, when they come in, I love them, but I don't really pursue them as much as I used to. But I think that they're very important for people to collect.
Yeah, I'm much more selective, that's for sure. Right. But I do still collect. I mean, I just got the Wild Robot on 4K, so I still collect them, but they have to be at a certain price range for me to get them. And I certainly wait for the Criterion half-off sale, and I'll buy classic movies and foreign movies that I really want to see on that level. So I do still collect them. Not anywhere near like Kristian said, not anywhere as much as I used to, but I certainly do still do it.
All right, let's see. Next one here, and that is from Aaron Cole. Mm-hmm. Mufasa had a good story at its core and great music, but it had trouble keeping me invested. Same. Would have benefited from a 90 to 100 minute runtime like the original and some restraint with fewer flash forward scenes. I can't disagree with that. I think I completely understand how you come up with that. I think, that John, I know you haven't seen it, so it's hard for you to say there, but I'm very curious what you're going to say. Very curious.
How long is it? Is it 2 hours?
I think it's like 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Aaron Cole. Sonic 3 was a fun ride, start to finish. Agreed. Matt Sinister McCall. Beth Snyder. Red One is a great movie with weed. Via. Watch it with Via. Anthony Roybal. If Big Balls doesn't return, we riot. Merry Christmas. He is going to return. He is going to return. And I got to just
not on my face. He won't.
No, I just got to get him. I just got to get him back. But he is. We have the equipment because of one of our wonderful listeners. We have the equipment to get him back. It's just a matter of setting it up. It will happen, hopefully under the break. We'll see. So, this is Dan. Did you see the reports about Andor's budget? Wow. Yes, we discussed that earlier for sure. And then Jason Crosby just putting in Rocha needs a support there. Rocha needs. What's it say? Rocha needs to. Where did he say? Win. Rocha needs to win.
Come on, guys.
Trying to get you to win. And then we get to Aaron Carranza. When's Brett and John Rocha gonna shave their head and wear their blue bracelets? LO USA. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's probably some Trump reference because he's got a small penis. This guy.
But what if it wasn't?
He's like, I said something mean about Brett and John. My dick is gonna grow now.
But wait, what if it wasn't? What if that's not what it means?
I'm sure it's what it means. The blue bracelet thing is an indication because women were wearing that to tell black women that they voted for Kamala instead of Trump.
Oh,
so, he's sad, but you guys are sad. Like I feel so bad for you.
They're
parents.
getting you
like,
worked
this
up.
is what you turned out like. I just feel so bad.
Yeah, but he's getting you worked up. He's winning.
No, but this is not. You know me. I'm Latino. This is nothing. This is like level 1. You know me.
Spidey Sensei 72. Kristian, any thoughts on the issues with Shamik Moore, and do you think this will affect the next Spider-Verse film? I'll be honest with you. This is where I've gone now in the world with this.
Okay.
So I saw this stuff floating around on social media, and I said, "Oh, what's this?" And then I got bored with it, and I said, "I'm not dealing with this anymore. I don't. It's more drama that I'm sure other people are going to cover. I'm not getting. He removed himself from the thing. He got called creepy. I said, I don't know what it is. And I'm out. And then someone said, well, they're going to cancel Spider-Man now because of it. And I'd say, well, are they? Or can they just recast them? I don't know.
They're not going to cancel anything, and they're not going to recast.
I don't even
There's
know what it is.
way too much money involved in
I don't
this.
even know what it is.
And they're because he essentially, when Josh Allen, quarterback of the Bills, and Haley Steinfeld got engaged, he made some comment that people took and posted things that people took to mean that like he was hurt that she didn't choose him to be with him, and he'd quietly been about her. And then he made some comment about another woman, I think, who's married, and she said, "Hey man, I'm not messing with you. I'm married." And then he got destroyed for that, and so he took his social media down because of that situation.
This is another reason why I just tell people, stop tweeting. Stop
I know
posting.
Is what Kristian said to me a few weeks ago, and I've thought about it occasionally when, I haven't been tweeting quite in the same level before, but he's like, if you look at your Twitter like a gun, how do you use your bullets? And so with Shameik, I agree. With people who are really, really famous, I don't understand why you tweet about anything other than your projects. Like, honestly, it makes no sense to me to do anything like that because you open yourself up for attacks. And if political stuff, that makes sense because that's your point of view, your morals, your ethics. I understand that. But going after someone who got engaged or being thirsty about I don't understand that logic at all.
Mad Sinister McCall, the men who body shamed Sydney Sweeney are blind. Who was doing that?
Yeah, there were people coming after Sydney because there were some bathing suit pictures that were posted, and people were like saying, "Oh, see, this isn't." And of course, they were probably all fat, pimply faced 45-year-old men in their basement going like, "Oh, she's not attractive. Look at her. This is Hollywood lying to you about the beauty of women again," and all this stuff. And sadly, she responded. Sadly, she posted pictures where she's thinner, looks thinner, and it's like they shouldn't even cater those people.
Yeah,
you know,
don't
they're just
post.
sad guys. Yeah, there's too many sad men in the world, man. Y'all got to grow up.
But just don't post. Just don't post about this.
Yeah. They want the attention.
I know. Chris Miner, hope you both have a safe and happy Festivus. Thank you, Chris. That's everybody.
When is the poll? When are we doing the poll? Festivus. Let's go.
Let's see. Next one here. And we're at 60 already, John. It's pretty damn good.
Nice.
With a half an hour to go. Pretty damn good.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get to the next one here. We have thank you to everybody who's been chiming in the day before. So just to let everybody know while I look for the next question here, my schedule this week is going to be, today is the live show with John, obviously. Tomorrow is going to be my interview with Sean Gunn. That goes up tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. Friday, Christmas Day, I'm releasing my Avengers movie reaction with Sam. We just released Captain America, which people are enjoying. And then I think then Friday will be, or did I say Thursday? Yeah, no, Thursday's the most anticipated, and then Friday is live with Winston. So that's this week's schedule. Aaron Carranza, finally getting to watch the show live. Love you, Kristian. The interviews are great. Thank you, Aaron. You bring common sense and level-headedness to these knuckleheads. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And by knuckleheads, he means Rocha.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Top dog.
He's not a knucklehead, right?
Who?
Because he's not a knucklehead.
Me? No way.
Thanks.
Maybe.
No, I'm talking about Aaron.
Oh,
Aaron.
No. I don't think he was calling you knucklehead, though. I think he was talking about everybody.
No, he's just messing
Top
around.
dog rig. If Tobey and Andrew came back, I hope they feel like they're actual characters from their movies and less like the actor cameos. My only criticism of No Way Home. Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel that way, but I can understand if you want to see them like step it up a little bit more like they are the characters.
Yeah, I went back and forth with somebody over the week. I can't remember who it was, a friend of mine, and I was going back and forth on them about it because they thought the Tobey Maguire thing didn't work. And I'm like, how can you see the scene with him and Alfred Molina on the walkway during the big fight and tell me that you didn't get any emotion from that? I was in tears because I love those Spider-Man movies and seeing the interaction with him and Molina, which was a tragic villain in that second movie. So I don't understand people say that. I thought it was great, those two guys.
Anthony Roybal. If Venom comes back, it has to be as a bad guy. I mean, we haven't seen him be a bad guy in a while.
No way Hardy comes back as a bad guy.
I don't think so either. Casual Scroll. Penny Parker sci-fi live action would be cool to see. Nicolas Cage as noir live action. How about Oscar Isaac Spider-Man 2099? Sony could literally build franchise films for all these spider heroes. Well, they're doing live action Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, the series. Yeah,
they're doing the series live action with Nicolas Cage. So I think maybe they'll start with that and see. So is that a Sony? It's got to be a Sony property, isn't it?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's what caused the problem with Lord and Miller. Like they're arguing. The rumors are that they argued over the budget, and I think that's why Lord and Miller like canceled their deal with Sony. But I think it's more a matter that Sony's brand was tainting Spider-Man, so anything connected to Spider-Man was going to taint them as well. You know,
interesting.
Except for Spider-Verse, of course.
Karen Vander Maheen.
Hey, Karen.
Hi guys. Did you see that the Super Slash Man Christopher Reeve documentary didn't earn an Oscar nomination? That's just sad. I don't get that. How did they not get nominated?
It's so ridiculous. I don't know where. I mean, the same thing with Still, the Michael J. Fox one. Like, I don't understand
Yeah,
this.
it's another one too.
Yeah, I don't understand this approach. Like, this is Hollywood. Aren't you not? Do you not want this? Whatever the rules may be that it didn't get a nomination, and Still, they need to change those rules. It's really frustrating because those are beautiful documentaries. And no offense to the 45th documentary about what happened at the Holocaust. Like, and I think that's super important to have as documentaries. But I also think these stories that appeal to wide mass of people who are into it, I think because they're done really well, I think those have to be considered to be put in the mix as well. It's super frustrating to see this kind of stuff, man.
All right, next one. And this one comes in from Django Blackfire. Hey guys, I know it's a long shot, but can you get Dan Merle on a Monday live with John? Maybe in January? Movie Trivia Schmodown crew unite for one live. I mean, the Schmodown crew would be like 75 to 100 people on one episode. But look, John, I think that's what makes the yearly one special though too, is because you look forward to seeing the three of us kind of breaking down and talking about it. It's been a year. I mean, has it been a year since you talked with Dan?
No, we text and because stuff, personal stuff has happened, so we've texted. But yeah, we don't keep up with each other in the frequency that we did before he left LA.
Sure.
And because we all have things we're doing and we all go on. But I would love to do a live show in person in New York sometime with the three of us in the summer. That would be a lot of fun.
I'd be down with that for sure.
That'd be like a summer movie season preview or whatever.
I'd want to do one. If we do one, which we should, we need to give it 2 or 3 months time. And I want to do one with like 200 or 300 people in the audience. I mean, it's fun to do like the 50, 60 people, and that's fun. But I want to do like a big, huge thing. That'd be fun.
I guarantee you, if the three of us come together to do something, we will get 300 people in that auditorium. I guarantee you.
I hope so. First rate, Nate. At least regarding the cost of Andor, we are getting 12 episodes, and each are 45 minutes or longer and look movie quality. Yeah, which cannot be said about Acolyte, which was $340 million for only 6 to 30-minute episodes, and it did not look film quality. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. I threw that last part in there, but still. Hank Pym, Sonic 2 is the only movie so awful that I walked out during it. Really? Interesting. Sonic 2? Interesting. What's some movies that are so bad that you had to leave? I love the Sex and the City 2 story. Well, that's the one I always tell, right? That one is the one we walked out of, and I'll never forget that. Get out of there, man. Get out of there. And I finally left. But the other one was, what's that movie? Shit, I can't remember the name of it. I got to ask Ellis. What's a movie you walked out of?
Batman and Robin, and I've still never finished it. And Turner and Hooch, I just never liked that.
Whoa, you walked out of Turner and Hooch?
That was so bad. It was so bad. Wow. It wasn't. I know people love that movie. I just didn't feel it.
Yeah, never heard of that. So 10,000 BC, I think that was the name of it. 10,000 BC.
Oh yeah, that one with the guy trying to save himself. Yeah. I remember that one.
I think so. Was that the one? No, maybe it wasn't 10,000 BC. It was the one. It was a comedy.
Or was it Alpha? Was it Alpha? No, it was a comedy.
It was a comedy. I can't remember what it was.
Year One? Was it Year One? The Michael Cera, Danny McBride one with Jack Black.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was Year One. Yeah. Sonic 3 came. This is from Brian O'Neill. Sonic 3 came out here in Ireland this weekend, and the amount of parents on their phones was disgraceful. That is pretty bad. Plop their kids down and stop giving. I hate that. I hate that. It's like, don't take them to the movies then. Don't take them to the movies because you'll be on your phone. And because it's just, I hate, and you think it's bad now. You think it's bad now. Wait until like 20 years when the generation that's like doing it, when they have kids, it's just gonna be something that they do anyway, and they're gonna be used to it, and everybody's gonna be doing it. It's gonna be a nightmare.
I hope there's going to be a future where like you can sit in a cubicle and watch the movie and not like see anybody else. That's what I would like.
Probably be virtual
theater experience.
I feel like the virtual thing is really going to change because right now, as much as I love like the Meta Quest and all that stuff, it's like you still got to have that big chunky thing on your head. I think eventually you're going to have a thing that just, and then the whole thing just changes. It's why, like, I don't know how much you pay attention to the simulation theory thing. It's like it becomes more. Have you ever heard of that theory, simulation theory?
Are you going to start going down a rabbit hole here? What is this?
Just look it up. Look up simulation theory. It's one that even Neil deGrasse Tyson takes seriously. But just take a look at it. I don't know what I believe in it, but I'm just telling you, take a look at it.
All right.
Motorola. What's up, Joey? Merry Christmas to all that celebrate. Kristian and Rocha, 2 favorite WWE matches of the year and hopes for 2025 when it comes to your personal channels. Well, for the year, hard for me to say because I think that the last I didn't watch as much towards the second half. First half I watched more. I will tell you that I did watch the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match. I'd probably put that up there.
So good.
And then I'd probably put the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair was last year. So there was it Rhea Ripley and I think that she had a good match with Liv. I can't remember, but
it was the SummerSlam one.
No, but which was the one at WrestleMania? Who did was that Charlotte Flair? Who did Rhea Ripley fight?
It was Liv and Rhea. Yeah.
At WrestleMania. No,
yes, at WrestleMania. Yeah.
It was WrestleMania or was it at SummerSlam?
Was it?
No, she won I can't remember.
Bayley versus Io was WrestleMania for the title, for that side of the title.
Right. Yeah, I thought she kept the title.
Maybe not Rhea because maybe she was hurt.
No, she got hurt after WrestleMania. Okay. She fought at WrestleMania, but who did she fight? She won the title last year.
Okay,
I can't remember, but that's one. Who are your two?
I would say my top two are the WrestleMania match with Cody and Roman because of all of the hype around it and the way it ended, and then I would say the Punk and McIntyre Hell in a Cell match. That was vintage Punk going all the way back in the time machine, and McIntyre just meeting him at that level. It was incredible what they did together, man. Yeah,
it was a good one.
Rhea fought Becky. Rhea fought Becky Lynch.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a good one. A good one. I don't know I think I'd probably take John's over the Cody and Roman. Rago. With Interstellar opening 2 big IMAX numbers and taking the #1 spot, is there an old or recent movie you would like to see an IMAX re-release? Inception.
Oh, another Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is great.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen Matrix come out in IMAX already. Pretty much all the big ones have come out in IMAX already. 2001, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a big one that I'd necessarily want to see in IMAX over the last few years.
All right.
I'd have to think about it. Let me think about it.
All right. Let's see. Ronetta, what's up, fellas? Sonic 3 was a blast. Jim Carrey was hilarious. My son and I had a lot of fun. I love that. We'll see Mufasa this coming weekend as well as Nosferatu. Definitely don't take a kid to see that one. That Superman trailer was phenomenal. I can't wait. Yeah, we haven't really talked. What do you think about the Superman trailer, John? I haven't talked to you about it.
Oh, the Superman trailer. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was really good. And I think James Gunn's doing something right. If you're pissing off the Snyder bros and the Christopher Reeves bros, then you're doing something right, in my opinion, because you're walking that line. You're creating a more grounded Superman that feels realistic while also keeping the mythology and the fantastical nature of it all with all those heroes. So I thought I had no issues with the color, all these professional color graders out of nowhere. I had no issue with that. And I think I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. That being said, I also give a lot of credence to Jeff's reports that he's hearing about some of the troubles behind the scenes. If you guys don't know about that, go into the insnider.com. Jeff's got a little bit of a report on that. And so I hope at the end, by the time this comes out, they nail it. But the trailer looked great.
Buster Barnes. Creature Commandos was renewed for season 2. Let's go. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, so it looks like it's doing pretty well for what when you're looking at it also is different when it comes to animation where the numbers from like a live action or what they do in animation of different goals you got to set, and it looks like they hit those goals and then some.
100%.
Yeah. Brian O'Neill rewatched Dune 2 on Saturday and I still don't like it. Boo. Finished Dune Prophecy and it might be the best series since Game of Thrones. Hey, more power to you. Hope season 2 is
finale this morning. It was good.
Yeah, you watched the finale. It was good. I'm still that one I'll probably get to before I finish Skeleton Crew. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
The finale's an hour and 15 minutes. Great. It's a pretty chunky finale.
I'm fine with that as long as I care.
Yeah.
Maveth the Reaper. Hey, I love you, Outlaw and Kristian. Was wondering, have you predicted Avengers Doomsday box office numbers? I know it's early, but my hype is unreal. No, because I don't think that I'll do that yet. Because they have movies that are leading up to them first that helps that overall prediction. Because if right now there's really no big, like, I don't know what the story is in the MCU right now. Like, I knew what the story was leading up to phase 3. It's like, okay, here comes this lunatic looking for this gauntlet and everybody's trying to get, together and find out these Tesseracts and joining up the Tesseract, everything else, and trying to join up and everything is fitting together. I knew what the story was.
Yeah.
What's the story right now? I don't know what it is.
It's a good point.
And I just know it's about the multiverse. And
Yes.
they don't even know because of Kang and all that. So I've got to see what happens in 2025 before I even make a prediction on that. I don't know how you feel, John.
3 billion. 3 billion.
You think
I think that's
3
my
billion?
prediction.
You're crazy.
I think 2.5 billion at least. If they nail it all right, I think 2.5 billion at least. That's what I would say.
Even if Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four underperform.
Yes, because you're bringing back the old people, and people have a curiosity to see Downey Jr. It was announced last week, right? That or a week and a half ago, Chris Evans. Then Haley Atwell's been announced. So people have a curiosity to see how you're going to bring back all of these people. Won't be surprised if Scarlett comes back and Jeremy Renner and like everybody. So to me, I think that's going to override anything before, and also it's the Russo brothers, and people have faith in the Russo brothers, and they're not directing the other films, just the Avengers films. And I think people have a faith in those guys when it comes to the Marvel universe that is going to override anything that might be underperforming or
you're saying
didn't meet
you think it's going to make $2.5 million. Wow.
2.5 billion. Yes.
2.5 billion. Sorry. Mad Sinister. Team Rocha and Roxy. No super chats for Coy Boy. Coy's not in here, so it's only Rocha versus Winston this week. Carlton Rudder. London calling. No question today. Just want to wish you both a fantastic Christmas, and here's to a great 2025 at the movies. Thank you to both. Thank you, Carlton.
Same to you, Carlton.
Carlton's really great.
And much love to your family, Carlton.
Yes. Yeah. Casual Scroll. I saw Andor last night. Definitely. Oh, what an idiot I am.
What happened?
What an idiot I am. Before when I brought that up, when he said, this person said, this is why I don't glance at the chat, and I got to wait till the questions, because he wrote, saw Nora last night. Definitely a comedy, definitely not a comedy. So he was agreeing with us.
Okay.
Yeah. Eric Krempa. After your Masters of the Universe story, I had this thought for years. I'm around your ages, and Rocha actually dropped the name by accident earlier. I would love to see a remake of Krull. Talk about Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, because that's what people, I've saw it in the studio system. They do this all the time, and there's so many morons that are working in the studio system that they see, well, it didn't do well back then, it won't do well now. It's like, no, it didn't do well back then because it wasn't approached right. If you approach a story from a different point of view with different writers and different directors, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, but you can go for a different take on it. And I think that would be great for them. I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake that movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. And I didn't drop it accidentally. I was just trying to correct Kristian on that. But yeah, I think I would love to see that. And these old 80s films that were closet, like fun, guilty pleasures from that time, there's a way to update them to make them a lot of fun. And so I think Krull would be one of those first ones up for that for sure.
Yeah. Retro Rebels. I love to see the DC characters get the love and attention they deserve. Hey, Rocha, loving that Jeff Johns Green Lantern Rebirth absolutely behind you. Oh, wait, I love that. Sorry. I'm loving that Jeff Johns Green Lantern Rebirth absolute behind you, sir. I got that
I
out.
That. Love that run. So much fun. Yeah.
Casual Scroll. No. I said it was a comedy. Terrence was hilarious. Yes, you did, Casual Scroll. Sorry. You absolutely did. Retro Rebels. Rocha, it seems like you're the only one talking about the Sheridan verse. How are you liking Landman? I think it's top tier. I agree. I can't wait for Madison and Empire under the summer moon.
Yeah, man, I've been a recent convert to the Taylor Sheridan universe, and I'm loving it because people think it's a red state thing. He walks the line. He walks the middle between both, calls out both, gives credit to both sides. I love that. It takes a certain amount of guts to do that and present it in a certain way. And I think this is, like I said, what Kristian and I have said before, right? The middle needs to be celebrated more. People who walk the middle need to be celebrated more. And I like that he does that with his stuff. Landman is great. And all the criticisms people are having about the female characters, these people are clearly not watching the show. There's reasons for why the mother and daughter act the way that they do. And you've got a kick-ass female lawyer handling her business who's in her 20s. So it's like these kinds of things people are just wanting to attack because they're wanting to cry from the outside without having watched this stuff, especially a lot of nerd writers who have no concept of what it's like to have a masculine show and actually deal with masculine shows that also have strong women who have multifaceted emotional experiences in the world. And Lioness is another one that is absolutely top tier with a diverse cast, with women leading the way, badass women leading the way. And so, yeah, I'm loving Landman a lot. I'm looking forward to what's coming next, and I'll catch up on 1883 and 1883 and 1923 here in the next few weeks as well.
Those.
So
Those are my two. Those are the ones that I've watched.
I know you told me how great they are.
I really dug it. Brian O'Neill, live action Arcane film could have the show cast. Haley Steinfeld, Ella Purnell, Katie Leung, Harry Lloyd, and Kevin Alejandro are all terrific actors. Yeah, I mean, they really are. I would love that, and I just really think it could work as a live action. I wonder. Yeah. Motorola, Arcane talk. If it is live action, should Haley and Ella keep their roles as Vi and Jinx? Angela Bassett for Mbessa is my fan cast. Angela Bassett would be great. The problem is though, I think Mbessa at that point, I wonder if she could, age wise, I wonder if it'll work out, because you got to see that. I mean, the character of Mbessa is no joke. You got to find somebody pretty jacked also, and I think in like maybe early 50s. Yeah, I would say. But I'm telling you, even bringing that up, you see people starting to get excited about that. Haley and Ella, same thing. The question is when they make it. If they made the movies today, or within the next 5 years, definitely. I'm curious though. Mavet the Reaper. I'm donating in to help the Outlaw. People are trying to help the Outlaw. Outlaw at 78 so far. 78.
And look, none of them from PLD. What does that tell you? That's a shame.
You know, maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he would have if you didn't, make inappropriate advances at his wife.
Because he had done it for the last year, at least once. Maybe. Come on.
Retro Rebels. Rocha, it seems like you're the only one talking about the Sheridan. Wait, we said that.
We already asked that.
We had that one already. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Did that go in twice? Mad Sinister Macau. IMDb has Strange Darling and Kill as 2023 movies, but they were released in 24. Can I use them for my top 10? What movies do you still need to see in 24? Well, I haven't seen either one of those. And a Strange Darling I'll probably see because I hear good things about that one. My next one on my list is The Brutalist. It'll probably take me 6 months to watch it, but I'll probably watch it. That's my next one I'm going to start. But yeah, other ones, and I gotta see. I gotta look at what other ones. Maria, I haven't seen. I don't know if that'll make my top list. I'll probably watch that after my top list. I can't imagine it's gonna make my top list. Maybe I'm wrong. Did you see Maria?
Maria, the Maria Callas one. I have not seen that one yet.
I don't think that's gonna make my top 10. I mean, I could be wrong, but
no offense to Angelina Jolie.
No, my wife started watching it. She wasn't a fan of it, so I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. My wife's not a fan of anything. She's like, every time she's watching, majority of these movies that I'm watching, she just comes in, she's like, what's this shit? I'm like, this is September 5th talking about. It's great. Went down a real rabbit hole with that after I watched it though. I started looking at the real footage.
What about Better Man? You got Better Man.
Oh, is that a good one?
That's it's getting a lot of good love. Blitz.
Yeah.
What about the Bob Dylan film? Did you see the Bob Dylan film?
That's in my top 10.
Come on. Yeah,
that's in my top 10. That might be my top 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie.
Conclave you watched, right?
No, that's one I gotta watch too.
Come on, buddy.
So Conclave, and Brutalist are my next two.
What about Emilia Perez? Did you watch Emilia Perez? Yeah.
I don't think that one's gonna be for me, but I'll watch it. I have a hat. I gotta be honest
with you. I don't think it's for you either.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. All right, let's see. Casual Scroll. What a season finale for Dune Prophecy. Wow. I guess pretty good. You like that one, huh, Rocha?
Yeah, I'm not watching that one.
I'll watch it. I just don't think it's not gonna make top 10.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, so I only gotta watch. I gotta watch like movies that I think are gonna make my top 10. What a season finale for Dune Prophecy. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it yet, so I'll let you know if I feel the same.
Oh, you got to watch The Order. That's the other one too, the white supremacist one with Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, I heard that one's good. I'll watch that one too. Okay.
Heard great things about that one. Yeah.
Ethan Barron, Sixth Creek. A few weeks ago, I thanked Kristian and Steph for all the years of entertainment and sibling bonding that I've had because of your shows. I love that. I'd like to extend that to John as well. Thank you, Outlaw Nation.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
It is very kind.
In the same breath with Kristian and Steph is an honor, so thank you.
Matt Thomas, loving the resurgence of Matt Thomas. I take my godson to a movie once a month. I asked to see Sonic 3 first time. I had to use the veto system put in place after Pacific Rim 2 series. That ain't for me. What? Wait. So, the series ain't for me. With the Sonic. Sonic isn't. Is that what he's saying?
Sounds like it isn't it for him. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. But it's funny. I heard there's only a couple people I've heard who haven't liked it. It's all been in this chat today. Yeah. Ethan Barron back again. John, the Xbox Game Pass works on Series X, Series S, and PC, phones, browsers, pretty much anything. You can buy the Game Pass for $20 a month, and you can play it anywhere.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm taking a look right now. All right.
Korean Empire. Friday surprise show. Spill Kristian's tequila. Was that on Friday?
Oh yeah, he's saying to have me join Spill the Tequila with Kristian and with Winston.
Oh, Winston on it. Yeah, and then you can, and then you
I get a win.
you get a guaranteed win. You get guaranteed win if you do it that way. Top Dog Rig. I saw The Substance last night and I loved it until that ending. Yeah, it's the same way I felt. What other movies came to mind that you really enjoyed, but the ending kind of ruined it for you? Merry Big Balls Christmas to all. Yeah, it was. I think it was. That's the last one that I remember. Ending wise, I'd have to think about it. But man, yeah, it was that movie because I was loving that movie. I was loving that movie. In the ending, I was like, yeah. But what about you? Is there a movie that pops up for you?
Yeah, Hancock. Remember, like,
oh yes, that's a good one.
Ending, you're like, what?
Yeah,
and it frustrates the piss out of me for sure. Which Wolverine? The Wolverine one?
Yeah.
That one the Mangold did because they came in and had him back on that ending. Oh,
what's this story with Stephen A. Smith saying that he could knock out Joe Rogan? What's this? Do you see this?
Oh,
have you seen this?
Two blowhards yelling at themselves. I don't care.
This is just, I guess Stephen A. Smith said that he recently claimed he could knock out Joe Rogan. I don't think that's a smart move though by Stephen A. Smith.
Joe Rogan would use him as a toothpick.
Kick him out. You ever see Joe Rogan's kicks?
I've seen Joe Rogan in person. He is intimidating.
That's not something Stephen A. Smith should do. Jim 1, Mufasa feels it could be another Solo or Lightyear. Nah, well, more. I'd say more so on the Solo side of things because Lightyear. Remember when I saw Lightyear originally, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting, but it was like, it at a rewatch in that movie, it's fairly dull, and I remember also, and I was right about this watching it the first time. I was like, I don't think that at the time she was 5. I don't think my 5-year-old will follow this and enjoy it, and she was bored out of her mind. I don't think she'd be bored during Mufasa. Yeah. Solo was just Solo to me. The second half of Solo is much better than the first half.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that. Stephen A. said he was talking to Complex, Natasha's stomping grounds. He said, "Let me be clear: if my right hand connects with the legend Joe Rogan, all due respect, he's getting knocked out. People, oh please.
If my left, right, okay, sure. If I started throwing cement at somebody, if one of them hits, it's going to knock them out.
Yeah."
All right, Matt.
Stephen A's on Ozempic. He couldn't hit anybody with that fucking. Anyway, go ahead.
He just wants to get in the headlines. Stephen A. Smith could not knock out the Chucky doll over there. All right, Matt Sinister McCall. Rank the 5 2024 movies I watched this weekend. Red 1, Strange Darling, Juror 2, Sonic 3, and My Old Ass. By the way, Sonic 3 made my poor mom nervous. I didn't see Strange Darling, so I can't rank it. Did you see that one, John?
I have not seen that one yet. That's on the list of the indies I want to watch this week. Yeah.
So Red 1, Juror 2, Sonic 3, My Old Ass. I would put number 1 out of all of those. I'd probably put Juror number 2. Then I would put Sonic. Oh no, then I put Sonic 3, then My Old Ass, and then Red 1.
Okay. I've only seen Sonic I've only seen which one? I've only seen one of them, so I don't think I can rank it.
You didn't see Red 1. You didn't see. No. You didn't see My Old Ass.
I did not see My Old Ass yet.
Oh, okay. All right. So you can't.
I can't rank.
You can't rank shit. Hank Pym. Let's see. Some of the most underappreciated movies of the year: Cuckoo, Don't Blink, Strange Darling, Heretic, Love Lies Bleeding, and Monkey Man. You seen it? You seen any? Monkey Man? I liked. I think that was underrated. I think more people disliked that than liked it, and I liked that movie. Heretic I didn't see. Strange Darling I really want to see. That one's on my list to see, and I really like Katie O'Brien a lot. So that is Strange Darling, right? That is
Love Lies Bleeding.
Love Lies Bleeding. Sorry, not Strange Darling. Love Lies Bleeding. I know that I was saying the right thing. Love Lies Bleeding because he put it in there. That's the one I want to see with Katie O'Brien. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Love Lies Bleeding, which I thought was
Okay.
Pretty damn good with
good.
her and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
And then what are the others? Sorry.
Let's see.
I'll just say real quick.
Yes, Love is Bleeding, Strange Darling.
Strange Darling, have not seen.
Cuckoo, Don't Blink, and Heretic. You see Heretic?
Don't Blink. Yeah, Don't Blink was fine until the ending. Heretic was excellent. I enjoyed Heretic a lot.
I got to see that one. Yeah. All right, Dancing Dog 60. Is the Scream franchise still alive? Yes, very much so. I think this is the thing. Everybody was talking about when all that controversy went down with Melissa Barrera, right? And when all that went down, it was like, oh, I'm not seeing this movie. I'm not seeing it. I was like, okay, watch what's going to happen. They're going to get Neve Campbell back, and everybody's going to yell at her for going back, and then everybody's going to see the movie. That's a guarantee. Guarantee.
Yeah.
There's no world where that movie with her coming back doesn't make money. Nick Piccolo. Gentlemen, happy holidays. Favorite season of the Schmodown and why? Ooh, that's a tough one. Oof. It's so hard to say. I probably would go with, I think it's season 5, because I think that's really when the live events started to take off. I think that's when the Horseman reveal was, and we were playing with a different kind of magic at that point.
I agree.
I'd probably say 5. Yeah. TJ Darling. Sup, guys? I'm a former FSU alumni. Go Noles.
Hey.
And still reside in Tallahassee. Hell yeah. What's your favorite bar or restaurant you miss from your college days? Oh, man. I mean, I would go to Potbelly's a lot. I mean, that's where I did stand up with Bert Kreischer there. And
did he have a shirt on at the time or no?
Yes, for that one he did. It was the first time he ever did stand up. But then there was the one. What's the one on Tennessee Street? Was it the Sweet Shop? Is that what it was called?
Oh, the Sweet Shop. Yes,
Sweet Shop. I think the Sweet Shop was one I really liked a lot too. Those are the two I remember all the time. The rest of it I don't remember, and that's a good thing because it means I was having a good time.
Yeah, there was one out in downtown that we used to have our theater nights at. Like after we debuted opening night, we'd go there and hang out.
Yeah. Downtown got better right as we were leaving.
Yes.
Downtown, was it what the hell was that one? There was some really good ones downtown.
Yeah.
Shit.
I do miss the pizza place that I think I found out.
No, with those big huge pizza.
Yeah, the one right next to the Black Box Theater. Oh man, that pizza place was incredible. And they closed like a few years after we left.
Dancing Dog 60. Thoughts on Triple X with Vin Diesel? It was supposed to be the anti-Bond spy film focusing on extreme sports expert turned spy. Remember? Yeah, I remember. It was like a early 2000s, late 90s. It was perfect for the time, but I don't think it's very rewatchable.
Yeah, it was fun for what it was, and the sequel was ridiculous. To see Vin, who was almost 50, riding a skateboard was a little nonsense. So yeah, the first one is fun. The second one, not so much with Cube, and the third one was just way too old.
Yeah. Daynapper. Growing up, my favorite episodes of the He-Man cartoon were the ones where he goes to Earth. Said no one ever. Hilarious. Yeah, it's true. Dancing Dog 60. Remember the Force 5 cartoons, early anime? I do remember those with the kind of bird wings and stuff going on. I do remember. Those are great. I wonder why they haven't done that. Ethan Barron Stritzkrieg. One actor you really want to see in Star Wars? Tom Hardy.
Oh, that's a good choice. Yeah, shit, that's a good choice. All right.
I'll go with that one. I want to see him in the Old Republic.
With or without a voice. With or without a weird voice.
I don't think he can do movies without a weird voice. I love his weird voices.
It's my lightsaber.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Dancing Dog 60. Showa Godzilla, in my opinion, is the best take on Godzilla. Which one is that? Showa Godzilla?
I don't know what Showa Godzilla is. I don't know what Shin Godzilla is.
I don't know what that is. I still think year one's my favorite Godzilla movie ever, hands down.
Yeah.
It was my favorite movie last year. Mad Sinister Macau. Have you watched Early Edition with Kyle Chandler? No. Have you, John?
God, no. That's a 90s.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. That. Jeans Gray. Happy holidays, gentlemen. Could you see DC doing an anthology series similar to Secret Level or What If? And by the way, Jeans Gray, did you see that Deadline reported that Sadie Sink is going to be Jean Grey?
Oh, I didn't give him credit. I forgot to give him credit once, and my life's been a living hell ever since.
No, that wasn't even meant for that. It's just what happens all the time. I saw like when when a Jared Leto story started coming out about Skeletor, and people were like, "Oh, Deadline report." Was like, no, I heard about the story 3 months ago. Like,
3 months ago, I almost tweeted. I might tweet it out today just to kind of go back at them. It's ridiculous how shameless they are. How shameless they are to not give credit or link credit. because Jeff's burned so many bridges. These clowns don't want to give him credit, but I thought they were good reporters, and good reporters and journalists cite the sources and give credit to people who broke stories first, whether you personally like them or not. Grow up, little children, grow up. Yeah. That's how it works in real life.
Gene's great. Happy holidays, gentlemen. Could you see DC doing an anthology series similar to Secret Level or What If? Sure. Why not? I mean,
yeah.
if that's what they want to do, sure.
Elseworlds is literally tailor-made for that. So, yeah.
Elusive Rock. With Fantastic Four coming out only 2 weeks after Superman, when do you think we'll see the trailer? Super Bowl or sooner? Happy holidays, guys. Well, they're in a trickier situation than Superman is, because Superman is the only game in town for DC. Right. Marvel's got 3 movies they got to focus on. They got to focus on because when you'll definitely see a Captain America, another trailer, or one of the trailers are out, because it's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks from Super Bowl. So that you'll see. Then the movie after that is Thunderbolts, and then Fantastic Four. So I don't know, John. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think I'm starting to come around on this belief that they might push Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to slowly, because I think Jeff has mentioned it in passing. And I think he's mentioned in the newsletter. I don't want to misquote him, but I've seen other people mention this possibility as well on their sites. And so I'm starting to slowly come around, because if Superman starts to get this, look how many people, it was 50 million or something like that. It was like it broke all these records, just the trailer watch. That tells you the interest level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if this starts to get buzz, and the reports like Jeff's report start to get drowned out, and people are like crazy excited to see this thing, if I was Marvel, I would absolutely push it a few weeks so it doesn't compete with this juggernaut and get kind of overwhelmed by it. And people will compare it. And if Fantastic Four underperforms and Superman overperforms, then people start the narrative as, is Marvel in trouble? And, oh my God, is Marvel need to rethink things? Right. And that's not what you want as your narrative for your brand. So
the only problem with that, though, is that remember they were supposed to have Blade come out in November.
Yeah, right.
They should have dropped Blade out and put Fantastic Four in then when they took it out. Now, I just don't know if there's enough room for them to move, but who knows? Who knows? Dancing Dog 60. What do you mean she's not 18? Matty boy. I don't know what that means.
Oh, Matt Gaetz.
Oh,
the report came out today. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I want to clarify something. Someone who said something earlier, Kristian, Showa Godzilla, he's talking about the era of Godzilla between 54 to 1975, which had 15 films. So my apologies, our apologies, that we didn't know what you were referencing.
Your apologies. I wouldn't have known that anyway. Christopher Johnson. Hey, fellas, will we ever get a District 9 sequel? Probably not. I don't think that Neil Blomkamp wants to do it. Probably not.
We might get a series down the road, but I doubt we get a sequel.
Yeah. Michael Miles, what are your thoughts on studios putting influencers and YouTubers on payroll? A problem or just an evolution of the entertainment media landscape? Is that a thing that's been announced?
Oh, not announced, but it's pretty much understood that studios pay.
But payroll's different than campaigns.
Right, fair point. I mean, payroll implies you're paid by the studio as an employee of the studio to do certain things. I don't know if that's the situation. I personally don't, because they're called influencers, and if they're getting paid by a studio, it's because they're supposed to promote the studio's releases, and so you can't play both sides.
It depends on how it looks. It depends on what you're doing here, right? Like, so if it's like, okay, perfect example. I had Frank Grillo on the show, which was an interview that I gotten on my own, and we started talking about werewolves, right? Afterwards, Werewolves was like, hey, would you want to do a promotion inside of it? Sure. So promotion, we took things, we took clips from it, and we put out, it was a promotion for the movie. It was like an ad for it. We didn't say whether it was good, bad, whatever it was, right? We just taught promotion from the thing. If you're an influencer and if a studio says, hey, we want you to bring awareness to our film, and you're doing a thing like, hey, so Jurassic World is coming out, and I'm excited. I'm a big Jurassic World fan. This movie's coming out soon. I can't wait for it. Right. If they're paying you to say, hey, you saw the movie, and if you loved it, start talking about it now, or just say that you liked it. That's a problem if they say just say you liked it and you get paid.
I think if they're paying you ahead of time to give an opinion that's positive about a movie before you see it, and I think that's the problem.
But that's also campaigns. If you're saying that they're on payroll, though, it is another conversation. So
that means they're being paid for their opinions, and that's
right. Matt Thomas dropped a video on the Cleveland location seen in the Superman trailer. Check it out if you get a chance. Hashtag views from Metropolis. That's pretty. Matt's been pretty vocal on all the stuff going on with the Cleveland aspect of it, so you should check that out, guys. Ethan Barron, sits great. Do you guys believe that video games are art? Had this argument with a teacher my senior year. At this point, I believe there's just as much art as movies are. Anyone who says that they're not art is a silly person. Of course, they're art. It's storytelling. It's a medium. Of course it's art. Your teacher is a silly person. Of course it's art.
Video games now are art. I mean, Pac-Man is an art, but video games now are art with the cutscenes and the stories they're telling, like Last of Us. Yeah, it's incredible stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Dancing Dog 60. What movies put you to sleep? Dune for me. Comments that say Dune puts him to sleep put me to sleep. That's what puts me to sleep.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, stop that. Bobby Jackson. What's up, Bobby?
Bobby.
Viola Davis was somewhat like Mbessa in the Warrior King movie. Yes, you're right. 100%. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. You too, Bobby. Yeah, she does have that kind of that essence to her in that movie. Yeah. Mad Sinister McCall, Beth Snyder. Harloff says Amelia Perez over Dune too. Yeah.
If you make it an hour through that movie, I'll be surprised.
But after RB3's raving review of it, I can't wait to see. Butt Funnel, happy Festivus. Thank you, Butt Funnel. Very generous here. Hope your 25 is even better than your 24. Thank you. Oh, you know what? Joey Moda asked us before what our goals are for the channel, for each channel, you know, and I think that what I like to see. I think that for me, I mentioned this the other day. I just want to get more of those movie reactions out there. I want to make sure that the live show is thriving. Right now, the live show's doing good. We do anywhere between 800 to 1,000 per episode, and I'd like to get that to 2,000. That's my goal. More reviews, reactions, more interviews. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah, very similar. My goal is to hit 100,000 by the end of next year. So I'm going to work so hard in ways that I've never worked in 2025. I'm going to be ruthless in times in 2025. I'm going to work much harder to establish the channel and build it up to that point. So that's my goal, because right now, I mean, it's nice to slowly be building, but I've also not given full 100% effort to the channel. So in 2025, I think it's a make or break situation. I want to bring more money into our household from what and look, I'm doing fine, but I'd like to do much better. And so that's the goals. And like Kristian interviews stuff, I kind of have been resisting that. I haven't called up publicists ever to be like, hey, can I interview? Like, so that's going to change. So make myself a much more potent part of the show, and I'll also going to improve my appearance, because I think in a way that does matter for someone like me. So those are those things that I'm looking forward to on the channel, and I'm going to learn to edit so that I can put up my stuff and not have to rely on other people to put up my stuff as quickly as possible. So those are the goals for 2025.
Breaking news: John's going to alter his appearance. He's going to get plastic surgery.
Yes, AI. I'm going to use AI filters.
Yes. Joey Pedros been blasting the new Superman trailer theme. Think John Murphy can keep that energy for the rest of the film? I do. I think that James Gunn has a very clear idea of what he wants, and you've seen it in just the little teasers. I think the score is going to be fantastic.
Listen to a lot of his other soundtracks that were superhero songs. They're fantastic.
They're really good. Retro Rebels recently finished Mr. McMahon. Felt Undertaker losing his streak to Lesnar was a waste. Agreed. Should have let Taker retire with the streak or give it to a worthy up and comer. I wouldn't have let him keep the streak. I would have done the second part of what you just said. Someone a worthy up and comer. Thoughts and happy holiday. Yeah, 100%. You should have given it to somebody that you didn't expect it coming, and it looked like it was going to almost be like a squash, and then the person, almost like what Razor Ramon did with the 1-2-3 Kid.
Good point. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Bobby Jackson, will either of you be doing a Squid Games reaction and then season 2? I would like to tell you that I want to, because that's what I want to do. I've been wanting to do season 1 leading into season 2. The question is timing, and like my first priority is to get Sam in here as much as possible to finish up the MCU thing, because I want to knock down as many as possible with her. So we'll see. But are you planning on doing Squid Games?
I hadn't until you mentioned it, but now I probably will. Although my normal editor has been doing some of the stuff. He's taking a 2-week break, so I won't be able to have that editor to edit my reactions. So I may have to. This may be where I react to it and either put up the full reaction or find a way to edit them and really push myself this week. So we'll see.
Bobby Jackson says, I would love to see a reaction video with Kristian and his mother-in-law. My mother-in-law at the moment is recovering from surgery.
Oh,
She's doing
good thought.
okay, but yeah. So it's but doing it in a video with her. I don't. She's not even. It would have been hard enough to try to get her to focus in on the camera in person. She's in LA now, so to try to get her to do virtual would be nearly impossible. Dancing Dog 60. Is Justin Baldoni canceled? Is his career cooked? I think you got to wait and see what happens. I think you got to wait for the details to come out. Yeah. Bobby Jackson, what do you guys think of Magazine Dreams getting a March release next year? Good idea or bad? Which one's Magazine Dreams?
That's the one with Jonathan Majors, where it's like playing I think he's playing a serial killer or a murderer or something like that, and that's the one he got in like massively great shape for. Okay. And was picked up by the people who did Sound of Freedom, I think, the same distributing company. So they're putting it out.
Hollywood is a pretty forgiving town if you make stuff. Eventually, I don't think his career's over. I really don't.
No, I don't think so. He's too talented. He's too talented.
Christopher Johnson. John, which Schmodown competitors would you have loved to compete against that you never got a chance to? Oh, I know the answer to this.
Clark Wolf. Yeah. Oh, listen.
And Rachel too, right? You never.
Oh, Rachel Cushing for sure, but Clark for sure. I mean, Clark and I have had an uneasy, dare I say, respect for each other. But I remember when Ian beat her off that Obama movie, and I went up to try to console her, and she was like, "Get out of my face! I don't need to hear from you." And I was like, "Wow, okay, we got ourselves some real heat." So me and her would have been a lot of fun to go back and forth with it. I love Clark. I respect Clark, but she doesn't follow me on social media. She clearly is not into the things that I'm doing. So it's a shame. And I think that would have brought some real heat to both of us going toe to toe.
It never lined up. That match never lined up.
It would have happened if she had beaten Ethan with that question, which I think would have been a massively awesome finale to that premium live event. And of course, Rachel, I think going toe to toe with Rachel would have been a lot of fun for sure. I probably couldn't have pulled out the full outlaw, but maybe Sam would have been like the buffer for that, like he was for that for the other who did I play that was Sam was the buffer for her. It could have been that, but those two for sure. Yeah.
Brooklyn, Secret Time. I used to be addicted to porn, but now whenever I get the urge and I get all bricked up, I throw on Rocha and Jeff or Harloff and just wait for it to go away. Thanks for everything. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Brooklyn. I'm glad we could take your addiction away.
We're keeping you alive.
Yeah. Dancing Dog 60. The Showa era is the Godzilla wrestling in suit 70s. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Love Danger Born. Do you think that Amazon will sell the distribution rights of James Bond if they and Eon does not come to an agreement? I don't know. Maybe. What do you think? It's just
no effing way.
No way. Right?
They worked too hard to get them.
Yeah.
So they're just like negotiations. We're gonna want this. Well, I want this, and then eventually they're gonna calm down, find that meeting ground. If they had a James Bond ready to go, I think these negotiations would be over much more quicker. Yeah. But because they don't, and they're not in any rush, you're going to see a lot of posturing until they finally come to the middle. But no way. Amazon wants that big time for credibility,
Levi, digging through old VHS tapes and found a copy of WrestleMania 6, Hogan vs. Warrior, my favorite bout. What were your favorites from that era? Well, my favorite wrestlers from that era? I mean, Hogan, Warrior, Savage, Mr. Perfect. Definitely. Those are ones that come to mind right away. Rick Rude. I'd agree with that. Rick Rude.
Heenan.
Heenan was one of my favorites.
Also, I want to say, if you guys aren't following, if you're WWE fans and you haven't subscribed to WWE Vault on YouTube, you are missing out.
Yeah. They show all the old school stuff, right?
Yeah. I just watched Tito Santana versus The Undertaker in Spain. That was a legendary match. I'd never seen it, and to be able to watch it live with Spanish commentary,
that was what it is. So they're basically doing, because remember the old school WWE network before it went to Peacock.
Yes.
You get access to all that shit. Like that's the kind of stuff that's great. Bobby Jackson, will either of you be attending CinemaCon? So I didn't go last year. And so this year, 2025, I was going to pick one of the two. I was either going to pick going to the Critics' Choice Awards or going to CinemaCon. And I'm probably going to do CinemaCon because I couldn't make the beginning of January work. So I'm probably I'm going to try to get to CinemaCon. Are you?
Yeah, I got the application the other day, so I'm going to apply to get in, hopefully, and go. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Retro Rebels. What movie should be forbidden to remake? Mine is Big Trouble in Little China. Don't mess with the pork chop. Well, that's going to happen. That one. Rocky. Rocky 1 should never. Rocky 1 should be a movie that never. You just can't, from the story that's built behind it. You just can't.
There's too many classics. Like The Godfather should never be remade. Yeah. Citizen Kane should never be remade.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of classics that I think should never be remade. So yeah. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark should never be remade. I'll be honest. Or Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Even, Yeah.
Matt Thomas, how do you guys deal with crowds at your screenings? There are a few regulars at the Cleveland ones that are annoying and complain about critics' preferential treatment. So crowds for your screenings. I mean, if you go to the critic screenings, if you're going to those, I mean, and you're having problems there, then I just say stop going to the movies, because those are the ones that's why I like going to the movies, because I know most of them are going to behave. It's hard for me to go to regular screenings now because nobody behaves.
Yeah, I don't go to anything but press screenings anymore. I let the people know here in San Diego that I don't go to anything but press screenings anymore, because it's one bad experience after another, and no amount of views are worth it for the experience of being uncomfortable for 2.5 hours.
And you can't give it a fair review because you're so pissed off.
Yeah.
Aaron, the creative. What is an underrated comedy that you enjoy? For me, it's Spy with Melissa McCarthy. That is pretty good. Statham's hilarious. He is good. I would say, I know maybe people don't think it is underrated, but it is. Mallrats.
Oh yeah, no, you're right, because people think it's one of the worst of the Kevin Smith films, and I agree with you. I liked it. I think I saw that in Tally. I think I saw that at FSU. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Hank Pym.
Just Friends, I guess. I would say that's my
PU. I hate that movie. Stinks. As an Ohioan, I gotta say the most impressive part of the Superman trailer is that they managed to make Cleveland not look like the vomit bucket that it is. I didn't say that. That was Hank Pym.
Do a video on that, man.
Yeah, there you go. Dancing Dog 60. Majors plays an unstable incel bodybuilder in the movie. Interesting. It's going to be an interesting one to do right after everything went down. Mad Sinister McCall. Have you ever sat on the toilet backwards? Weird. No, I haven't. And then Dancing Dog 60. I was into WCW back in the day. Fun times. Those were great. I remember that. I remember at FSU when all that shit was going down. Like that was like the battle. But that's it, John. You've given Winston something to catch up to. Back-to-back weeks. You have 101.
Wow, really?
101.
Oh, thank you.
101. So Winston has to try to once again catch the outlaw here at 101. As John
has great.
Back-to-back weeks of over 100. So there you go. With no help from PLD.
And I think any PLD contribution on Winston should be eliminated. Like it should be taken out of the overall total. Waste your money all you want, Paul, instead of providing for your family. Go ahead and knock yourself out. But like it should not be counted in Winston's overall total. Well, that is putting your finger on. I mean, come on. No, that's a guy who works. He works in the business in your company.
But he's taking the money. He's taking the money I pay him, and he's spending it on his own.
That's putting his finger on the scale. That's not right. Come on now.
He's not benefiting from it.
No, but he's like helping the numbers go up. It doesn't mean he's the deciding factor, but
True.
I think those should be eliminated. Come on, man. Be fair.
Fair enough. Anyway, listen, we're done. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here today, John. I want you to, for you, I think I may see you again with Dan. I'm not sure, but if I don't, thank you for all the help that you've been doing here for this, for the run that we've been doing. You really did help us kind of start this live thing coming back again. So I really appreciate it. And we have one more from Matt Thomas who says, have you two watched The Fire Inside yet? Sleeper. Which one's that?
Oh, the boxing one with Brian Tyree Henry.
No. It's pretty good.
That's on my list as well. I got to see that one. Okay, great. Jeff said it was good.
Okay.
So I want to
check that one out too. But again, I want you to enjoy your holiday. Make sure you send me an invoice, you son of a bitch.
I already finished it. It's ready to go.
Perfect.
So thank you, man.
That and more. Thank you, my friend. We will see you really, really soon.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, however you're celebrating this week. Remember to be patient with yourself. Remember to deal with family and friends. Take it easy. Take a breath. It's not going to be easy sometimes. Stay away from the political discussions if you can, but take care of yourself. It's very important during the holiday season. And remember why we're having the holiday season, which is to celebrate all of us coming together and the people you care about and you love. And if you want to hang out with me on the Outlaw Nation, head over there, youtube.com/John Rocha Says on my channel, and follow me at The Rocha Says and all my podcast, the Hot Mic, the Geek Buddies, and the Cinephiles. Thanks, guys, and thanks, Kristian, for an awesome time. And I'll see you next Monday, brother, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for being here again. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Don't forget, you can leave comments on Spotify. So if you're watching this on Spotify, do just that. We have some stuff happening this week. As I mentioned, tomorrow my interview with Sean Gunn will be up on the channel. Make sure if you want to check out some of those clips, those will be up there too. You can go to our clips channel. On Wednesday, the Avengers is coming out from the first time that Sam has ever watched it, so we did that. Thursday will be my top 10 most anticipated. Friday will be my live show with Winston A. Marshall for Capes and Cowls. So thanks for joining us on the show here today. You guys are great. Thank you to everybody who's been such a support this entire year. And we got a couple more shows, a couple more things. So join us for the journey. Have a great, great holiday with your friends and your families. We appreciate you, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.